I should be live now. Hello. Half of my last stream wasn't even on my channel. I'm gonna get the VOD and I'm gonna restream it. It was really good. Half of my discussion with Brittany Simon. Second half, it was really good. I'm gonna restream it and it'll be on my channel tonight or tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. I need to get the stream and get it all set up. That's happening. Now, I'm going on this Whick panel where men will be complaining about women. Let's make it happen, baby.
Yo, what's up, guys?
That wasn't me. That was just some random guy. Well, I'm navigating to my YouTube channel so that I can right-click on this, copy link address, go into my Discord. And post the link. So, here we are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Let me turn you up just a little bit, Kai. And Smeth, we can't see you yet.
All right, let me turn that on.
Okay, I don't know where Tom is, but he snoozes, he loses. You guys know the drill. I'll go live. I'll introduce you, or I'll introduce the topic. I'll say it in my chat, and then we'll get into it. Brief, concise introductions. Any questions before we start? Nope. Wonderful. Glad to see you all here.
Maybe I should ask how long do you think it'll be?
2 hours-ish. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Okay. Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of Whick TV, a cross-ideological space where we come together from across the political spectrum to talk about issues both silly and serious, from the cultural to the political. And tonight we have perhaps our most difficult question yet, the woman question. How do we solve this? Okay. Why are women the problem? And what can we do about it? I've gathered a team, if you will, of the most manly men I could find to discuss this issue. So I guess I'll just open this up by asking each of the council here to just give me in their opening statement your biggest problem with women. Okay, and we're gonna start with Ali. Go ahead, hit us.
My biggest problem would have to be the lack of self-awareness that women walk through every single. They're the definition of ignorance is bliss, and they just get to trollop around. And honestly, maybe the problem is that I'm a little jealous of that, but it's just the lack of awareness, man. I'm just gonna lead with that, and we'll let the others go and see where the conversation goes then.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here, and yeah, that is definitely an issue. Counterpoints. Give us your take.
Yeah, I would say my biggest beef with women is a total lack of standards in dating and hookup culture, and then way too high of standards in a relationship or partnership. So what I mean by that, I'll just try to explain really quickly, is that women will not vet partners. They'll go out on dates with dirt bags. They'll fucking, hook up with random shit bags, et cetera, et cetera. They'll get shocked when they get burned. They'll get shocked when people are manipulative or assholes or whatever. They'll just totally ignore everything and they'll just go off of vibes. And it turns out that vibes is like a horrible way to judge character. And then in a relationship, the standards just become, insanely high, where it's like, you always got to be on your game. You always got to be handling your shit. You always got to be taking care of everything, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you have a bad day and you freak the fuck out, which does happen as a dude every now and then it's just like, oh, well, women can basically be as emotional and fucked up as they want. But if you freak out as a dude, then they'll give you a bunch of shit for it. And it's like, hey, listen, I have a man period every now and then as well. So let me have my time of the month. Thank you.
A man period. Well, with that wonderful image in my head, let's go to Prime. Prime, biggest problem with women. Go.
Well, first, thanks for inviting me, and shout out to all the people here. Nice to see my friend Connor, Ali, and nice to meet you, Smeth and Zers. But I guess my problem is that women are too beautiful. I think they are these wonderful creatures that have blessed our lives. But why? Do we indeed deserve them? I think that's the question at hand. I don't know. It's as an individual who, has had. I wouldn't say he's not an individual. As men, we have mixed interactions with women. I think the biggest thing is just that our perspectives tend to be so skewed, and this exists on both sides. Is that we don't realize that the people on the other side of the sex divide have our own struggles, right? And we're all blind to them. And so I think women can sometimes be blind to the fact that men need to be vulnerable at some periods, that you may have a fantasy or whatever of wanting a strong protector, right? But even that protector needs to have points in time where he has his guard down. And that may not look pretty. That may not be an Instagram-worthy moment, right? It may not look the way it does in a movie, where a steel tear goes down the man's eye, right? And the woman, through her love, is able to heal him of whatever it is. And sometimes we're dealing with deep trauma as well. It's incumbent on us to express that trauma in a non-destructive way, but still, that level of understanding. I feel like when women see that, right, actually see what it looks like in real life, even if it's not coming out in a very destructive manner, I think they end up getting turned off because this is not what they thought it was going to look like. So I'll leave it there.
No, that's a good opening statement. Yes, women not allowing men to be vulnerable. I agree. They are the problem. Smeth, go ahead. What do you think?
First, I want to say my girlfriend was in my chat, and as soon as Prime said women are too beautiful, she said, "Aw," and then she's like, waited a couple seconds. She's like, "But also, don't be a fucking suck up." So, but I think that it depends on problem for who. Problem for men, or problem for women, or problem for society. And I think that in general,
I want to hear all three.
I think the first guy who talked, the guy with the pink, what is your, what do you
Ali.
Ali?
Ali.
Yeah, like what you said, with the dating market kind of thing, that's a problem for men, right? I agree, but I do think that that's a very male-centric perspective. I think that women have a big problem for themselves, and I think that the biggest problem is that socially we are, in our progressivism and shit, we're unable to criticize women, because our solution.
Because your girlfriend's watching you right now, and you're scared of what.
I'll criticize women in front of her, but I think that we're unable to do it because we feel women, as we have liberated them, we are liberating them by removing the abuse of men, but we're not removing the toxic shit that they come from. And they are used to socially being basically like a child to a man, and we're not like criticizing that shit. We're just criticizing what men do, and we're still treating women like children. Even Prime, I liked a lot of what you said, but the way that you said it is like sometimes men's emotions are not pretty. That's true, but the way you're saying it, it's like you have to explain it to a child. It's obvious, isn't that like? But like you have to preface it by saying it like, it's okay, we shouldn't have to do that.
But women are retarded children.
I don't think they have to be.
Well, thank you, Smeth.
Biological.
We'll get into it as we go. Last but certainly not least, Cersei, please.
So, honestly, I can probably sum it up really, really simply. The biggest issue with modern women is they have no love. They don't love men, and they don't love themselves. And by love, I mean a desire to be selfless, to take care of, to do for, to put others' needs before yourself. And without loving men, back to, I believe it was Prime, if not Prime, it was Counterpoints was saying, a lot of the men they decide that they are going to give time to are craptastic. They are probably not men who should ever have a lineage or bloodline or anything, and yet they're the ones who get selected for sexual reproduction. Why? Because again, love, kindness, consideration, actually being a virtuous and good man is never in their forefront of their mind. I honestly believe that a huge chunk of society's problems just get solved when the lineage of good, honorable men gets rewarded. If you reward men for being good people, they'll continue to be good people. We see men try to be good people in spite of that anyway. That's what's crazy about it. Men want to do good things in spite of all the pain and all the misery that comes with it. And yet, a lot of young ladies, they don't love us for it. They don't even think about it. They're very ungrateful. And then you have to consider the extent to which they dislike themselves. You know how many women I've talked to with so many different body image issues, so many women I've talked to who don't believe they're good enough for a good relationship, so many women I've talked to that are just so desperately and deeply insecure, comparing themselves to other women. It's absurd to me, especially when I come as a, try to love them and take care of them, how they have such a hatred for themselves and they have no love for other people. So to me, honestly, I would say the biggest problem, and then from there we can get to everything else, is they have no love. They don't like us as men. The vast majority of us as men are terrible people. They don't like us. And what's crazy is how much they don't like us. And people never call them out for how much they don't like us, despite the fact that all of us here, you guys have probably have friends. You guys have probably been funny. You guys have probably done things you didn't want to do for someone else. And yet still the prevailing narrative of man and manhood and masculinity in the West is that we're terrible people that no one should like. It's ridiculous. So
Can we?
that's my opening statement.
Can we?
Anyway, with that, gang, I think these were all excellent points of why women are the problem. But I wanted Smeth kind of delineated very well, I think, the three categories we want to talk about today: why women are the problem for us, why women are the problem for themselves, and why women are the problem for society. And well, I'll just start, if I may. So I used to not be a misogynist. I used to be very blue-pilled, if you will, right? I used to like women. But then I had a panel last week where I brought on women, a bunch of them, to talk about why men are the issue. And having to sit through that panel converted me. I am now an official misogynist. So I think that letting women speak was a mistake. I don't know if I'm going to do that again. But I wanted to get everyone else's opinion.
Well, hold on. How much of that is facetious? There's.
How much of it is facetious? I'll let you decide.
I think about 50%. I think 50%. The 50% is he probably got converted. The other 50 that he's joking is he'll never let a woman on again. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. He's right that he really, his opinion was lowered, but not that he'll never let a lady on his show again. That's a joke, I'm sure.
Well,
so I saw that panel and I understand, especially with laugh.
Wait. So did we want to start why women are a problem for us as men?
If you want, that's up to you guys.
So,
right?
No, I would love to do that. So
Let's do it. Go ahead.
I think that whether you like it or not, maybe this is just my personal perspective, but I think we're all playing a sexual game, and that there's really like two forces that undergird like all of human life and art and all that kind of stuff, and it's life and death, and it's sex and death, and sex is life and death is death, and if you look at our media, those are the two primary things that we're obsessed with in almost every regard. And so what I think men are used to, subconsciously and culturally wired to do, is to try to make themselves as attractive as possible to the people that they want to attract. So even if they don't work out, even if they don't take care of themselves, even if they don't have a nice flashy car, even if they don't do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, they're always thinking that in the back of their head. How do I make myself more attractive? How do I make myself richer? How do I make myself better looking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And so I do think, while I'm not as black-pilled as Xerxes, where I think that women are totally unappreciative of the efforts that men go through, I think that is a frustration. Yeah, but I understand the frustration on behalf of males and men, where you're kind of like you're like a peacock or a fucking some kind of bird, where you're putting up like your big like feathery display and like showing your muscles off and showing off how rich you got and how many experiences you have and all that kind of shit. And then the female's just like, and then they just keep it moving. And you're like, what the fuck? Like I spent years of time and effort and energy on myself. And then that can breed resentment. And then with that resentment, you become bitter. And if you become bitter, you become less attractive. And then it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you always have to be optimistic, and you always have to be showing your value if you want to be selected for sex.
That's a great point.
I gotta let them talk.
I
have so much to say.
I want to give it to Prime, then I want to give it to Ollie, and then I want to give it to Xerxes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna necessarily follow that thread. It's really.
Oh, I'm gonna follow the thread, just so you know. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, my comment is directed at you, Xerxes. Is that like this idea that women aren't selfless? Like. That's ridiculous. I mean, like,
how is it?
Women are sacrifice an endless amount for
who? To me?
Family. In fact, they sacrifice their careers. They sacrifice their
bodies.
Do they?
Their bodies.
They haven't done it for me.
Let Prime get it out. Let Prime get it out. Let Prime get it out, and then we can respond. I promise. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. They literally do sacrifice their bodies to have a child. They are subjected to a whole list of health complications. And,
where's my child? No offense.
And in that child raising, oftentimes due to circumstances or because that's the plan, they have to sacrifice their careers. The education they worked up towards gets wasted, I guess, because they become homemakers, and that's just like one aspect.
If you see it as a waste.
It's good. Weird. Oh heavens! They have to stay home and raise the children that they had.
If you are planning to continue on your career, right, and then that is derailed, then that might be considered as a waste. I don't know. You put a lot of time in, and then you don't get to actually execute that plan.
This is considering it was a decision that they made, right?
Here's what's funny about that.
A decision that who made though?
They made together. So the couple made together to have a baby.
Right, let's let Xerxes respond to me.
Ali is a great point, but number one, let me just, if I can go from back to front, right? One of the most interesting things about a lot of women in the career paths that they choose is that they don't really go into that career path in order to have a long career. They go there to find a man who is going to make a large amount of money so they can opt out. That's one of the most consistent things, unfortunately. Yes, they are. That was how a lot of college gets sold to people in general, particularly women. You go up there, you network, you go into a high-paying career. A lot of women who are lawyers, guess what? They find other male lawyers, then they just opt out the career. Same thing with doctors. A lot of nurses do the same thing with doctors. Now, of course, do I have a full statistic of every single woman? Unfortunately, I don't. But that is a consistent thing that they do. Now, here's the thing. I do not think that for a moment we should sit here and pretend that a woman having the ability to opt out of working is a slight against them. That is the most nonsensical thing in the world to me.
That is so dismissive.
Nonsense. It's not dismissive at all, because raising children is an amazing and wonderful thing. And I'm not going to sit here for a moment and pretend. I'm not going to sit here for a moment and pretend. that I'm supposed to, at any point in time, feel bad that a woman no longer has to work with management, no longer has to work with metrics, no longer has to work with clients she doesn't like. Also, she can raise the human being she cloned and she made, that she has full control over, that she can talk to, that she can hang out with, that she can influence. That is a slight against her. I'm not going to.
I need to pause the
pretend
conversation
that
and
that is the
interject
case.
something before we move on, because it's wildly important and it just happened in front of your eyes just now. I don't know if y'all saw me open a vegetable pouch in front of the camera just now. My wife, my dear and loving wife, who I will remain with until I die, she walked in order to have me open the vegetable and meat pouch. But you better fucking believe that if I get a little bit too lippy tonight, she's going to tell me to go fuck myself. Like, even though she can't open up a fucking vegetable pouch, okay? So it's, hey, here, what? It's a women's panel.
And she's
So,
still, yeah,
$5
she's still
just real quick. 'cause
And
after
you hear that? She's silencing me while I'm talking about it. You see what I'm
course.
saying? So on one hand, I need help with the vegetable pouch. On the other hand, shut the fuck up.
You were just here, and because let's talk about body sacrifice for a moment after I read the super chat. $5 from Testicle Johnson. I want a woman who will tell the waitress for me that I wanted ketchup instead of barbecue sauce with my chicken nuggets. Well, thank you for the $5. Because we talk about the sacrifice that women make with their bodies when it comes to childbirth, and that's fair. But men destroy their bodies for their families. They put their bodies literally in the line of fire.
And to Prime's point, I've asked a bunch of women, a bunch. Are they willing? Like, listen, if you want to keep your career and you want to work and you want to wake up every day at 8 a.m. and get good at job, listen, I will support you. Do I get to be at home? No.
Facts.
Facts. Yeah, you should. You should.
I'm a bitch.
Facts.
I'm a woman. I'm a this.
Facts.
I'm not a man. I'm not a provider. I'm not an anything. So the idea that women give up their careers and they wasted all this time, it's like, no. This is something that is. This is a teamwork. This is part of the team that when you're getting into a relationship. And the problem is that, to Connor's point, is that nowadays, everything women do, they claim they do it for themselves. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me. And it's like guys aren't doing things for them. Like to Connor's point, everything generally that we're doing is in order to attract the person that we're looking to attract. And it seems that everything that girls are doing are literally just to make themselves feel better. So like, excuse me if I don't care that women are giving up their careers to like, when they wouldn't give a guy the option. So give them the option and you don't have to give up your career.
Yeah,
Okay,
so like I can't. So I quickly see what this conversation is, and I thought this would be more satirical, but
it is.
Okay, here we are.
Here we are.
So I'm gonna hold on. Excuse me. So I'm gonna shortcut a lot of this. So one of the issues here is that there is a group of women doing X. And that is a true thing, right? And then for the purposes of this conversation, and because to push a political agenda, that group of women becomes all women, right? And so that we can just make these broad generalizations. Yes, there are women who are hypergamous. Yes, who are those who go to college specifically to find a husband, right? In fact, that whole sorority thing in Alabama, right? Like that whole thing is about like women looking for quote unquote high value men. That is true. What's also true is that plenty of women go to college. They are looking to start some sort of or get into a field like the STEM field or start a business or whatever, right? They accomplish getting that degree. They work hard to make those things happen. But then they get pregnant and that derails them.
Oh, how? How did they get pregnant?
Can I explain that? Can I go into that?
Ghost?
So
I have a ghost appear to them?
Hold on. Do you understand that? Sorry. What'd you say, Ali? I didn't hear.
I said miraculous births.
I'm saying
miraculous births. Hold on. Yeah, I can understand. No one's saying
Tag me
that
in.
The woman wasn't involved. I'm saying that when it comes to deciding who is going to have to sacrifice what, right? Because there's going to be sacrifice on both sides, assuming the couple stays together. Absolutely, right? We can recognize this, but the types of sacrifices they make are different from the types of sacrifices that men make. It's that simple. It really is. But that doesn't
What
mean that these
sacrifices
women
do
are
men make?
Okay,
just
I got-
bad
hold on,
or
hold on,
that
hold
the
on,
sacrifices
hold on.
aren't being made. Just because the sacrifices are different doesn't mean that they aren't being made. So I don't know
So
why
I'm
we
I'm
are pretending
gonna
otherwise.
toss it to
Agreeing
Smeth.
on
I'm gonna
that.
toss it to Smeth real quick. 'cause
Okay,
Smeth's been trying to get in. Go ahead.
their difference is there's only like there's not a lot of ways to have a child and raise a child. So and it's something that everybody wants to do. There are infinite ways to have a career, and you can do like anything in the world, and you can find what special thing makes you happy and do that, and that fulfills you. And having a child is something that is like fundamental to humanity, and each one of us has like a different ideal career, and you can find that and giving that up to have a child, because having a child is like a primal drive, and so women are forced because of pregnancy, that plays into it, and because we often have them staying at home, that does have that effect on them. Yes, it is easier to compare like taking care of your own child to working in a daycare taking care of 90 children. You would way rather be taking care of your own child, but still women do have to derail their lives to do that.
Yeah. Hold on. I want to split the difference between the two because I feel like you guys are talking past each other a little bit. So I'm more on Ali and Xerxes' side that like this is just the way that it is, that generally speaking, I think most people would prefer to spend time with their children, that men also make a lot of sacrifices, et cetera, et cetera. But the reason why I'm still sympathetic to Prime and to Smeth is that if I've had to play dad for a few days while my wife had to go take care of business or whatever, and by the end of the day, I'm fucking tapped out. Reason being is because it's not as annoying as dealing with customers. I'll grant you that. It's not as annoying as working your 9 to 5. I'll grant you that. But by the end of the day, you're just emotionally and mentally tapped because you're so tired of people just like needing you all the time and needling you every 15 minutes for fucking something. Hold up. But I think that the more traditional people would say that this is just biological reality and it's going to break one way a disproportionate amount of the time. So if you find me some Fortune 100 CEO sugar mama who wants me to fucking, change the DVDs for Finding Nemo in the middle of the day and all that kind of bullshit, then sure, I'll sit at home and fucking, play video games with the kids and shit. But the truth is that it's going to break one way 99% of the time.
Listen, I gotta say this. Hold on, I gotta hit the buzzer, because one thing that I think kind of makes me really sad about children is a lot of people love to harp on how annoying they are, and it's true, they're annoying. But this is a temporary state, all right? Once they get to about 8, when they get to 9, when they become maybe even preteens, teenagers, they become their own people, right? And they get their own interests, right? When I was a kid, I liked to read books. I wasn't a bother much to anybody. If I have a kid, he might even be similar to me. Wouldn't bother too much anybody else. Kids become their own people. So yeah, when they're younger, they're going to be needy. When they're younger, you're going to need to fix them some food. You're going to need to do a bunch of things for them. When my niece comes over, guess what? Sometimes I have to fix her food. Sometimes I have to get her something. Sometimes I have to play with her and get her some toys.
How many kids do you
Yeah,
got?
sure. I don't have any kids. It's my niece. My sister has a kid.
Carry on.
So it's like, so it's like, yeah, they're annoying. But you want to know something? She's also really kind. She's also a nice kid. She's also funny sometimes. So there's more to kids than just they're annoying and they're emotionally draining. They're still their own people. And this is a temporary state that they're going to grow up. So I'm going to bring it all together, right? The reason why I have to highlight this problem with young women and why I don't have as much empathy for them as perhaps I should, quote
Let us
unquote,
respond to what
is
you just
because
said.
One is because, hold on, is because one, and I have to bring it all together and then you guys can respond, is because lots of women complain like this is extremely difficult and they've made a huge sacrifice. It is a temporary state of being. Working as a man is not temporary. Not until you get years into retirement. You have to, and maybe not even then, because there's some old men I know who still aren't in retirement. Then you can rest. As a man, we do not get to have a temporary state where our children then just grow up and do their own thing. We still have to work. We still have to provide. And we do not get that degree of recognition, love, respect, and appreciation that women get for choosing to be mothers to their own children.
Okay,
Men who
two
decide
things.
to stay at home, just real quick, and then I'll let you respond. Men who decide to stay at home are seen as less than. Straight
Say it again.
by
Okay,
society.
say it
Men
again.
who decide to stay at home and take care of the kids and
Say
do
it
a
again.
traditional women's work are seen as less than by society. They
But
get
should
no
they
recognition.
care?
They get treated like like bitches.
Now I'm with you.
You're-
They shouldn't care.
Smeth,
Now you're
Smeth,
right. They shouldn't
Smeth,
care.
Smeth.
They should have the strength of
I wanna
character.
go to Smeth.
your job
Sigma
your
grind
job
set.
your job is way more ethereal, and you can change it more. You can change your career than having a kid. Having a kid, if you do that, you're like failing as a parent. Like, 2, it's your job to be annoyed by your kid and to be for them to be your burden.
It's your responsibility.
Yes, it is your, and if you don't do that, you're failing. And what you're describing of getting, but also they give you so much, that's not the point of being a parent. And if that's how you look at it, you're forcing your kids to parent you.
Well,
That's
hold up.
totally
So
what-
no.
It's
Xerxes
totally
said something real. Xerxes said something real. I just want to back it up. I'll back it up for like 10 seconds, okay? Kids are fucking annoying, but it's also some of the best shit you'll ever do in your life. Like, it literally does, like, my sense of life satisfaction compared to my career achievements. And by the way, I'm very proud of a lot of things that I've done. It's dog shit compared to raising my kids. I love my kids, as annoying as they are.
I think that was the point he was trying to get to, is that you're sacrificing a lot, but like what you're getting, so the pride that you get from your job, it'll be outweighed by the
Nothing.
pride it'll be outweighed by the pride that you get from raising your children. So the sacrifice of like, I work towards this career, it's like, well, you have another career technically that you're working towards, and it'll provide you with more joy and more pride.
But I think a lot of women, they fantasize.
You don't get to decide.
You disagree with that?
You don't actually get to decide whether this provides them more joy and pride, right? Like for some people it does. It absolutely does. I mean, our friend Connor just talked about like how much this is satisfying for them. And for a lot of people, that certainly is the case. But it's not all the case, right? And here's the problem. And again, this is just going to keep happening within this conversation. It's going to be really annoying. It's going to bring down the quality. Is that you're going to keep making blanket statements for others, and when you certainly shouldn't. And the idea, I just got to address this. The idea that kids aren't a problem after a certain age. No, their problems just change. They shift. Yes, you don't need to wipe their ass, hopefully, by 12 years old. They have their own personality, they have their hobbies, right? They are functional in a way that they weren't previously, but then they have a whole list of other problems, right? That they're dealing with, behavioral issues that they couldn't have possibly had previously, that you are going to have to handle. Like these things morph, and they can be. And kids raising them can become more satisfying and less satisfying. If you talk to parents, right? If you go into forums where parents discuss their issues, this changes. Just like with anything else, just like with a corporate job, their satisfaction for that changes. And some of them go into deep depression because of like the problems with their children. That's just a fact of life. We can simply last thing I'll say is that we can just simply acknowledge these wealth of experiences, right? That we could just do that in terms of raising kids and in terms of dealing with women in general, or to push agendas, we can just make blanket statements and pretend they apply to everyone. Go ahead, decide.
I will continue so we can have this conversation because you moved the goalpost, right? What I focused on was the temporary state that not only you brought up, but very many women complain about, and that is being a homemaker and staying home. I addressed that fully. Now, if you want to go move on,
being annoying. That's what I wrote it down.
That is correct. I did. That's exactly right. Because what do the women who complain about being homemakers say? That the kids are annoying. The kids need them. Yeah, I do.
No, that time he didn't. That time he didn't.
So and we've seen
the homemakers
consistent. Hold on. We've seen consistently. Let's say on TikTok, we've seen on different forums, we've seen on Reddit posts, we've seen the complaints of the homemakers. I apologize for the blanket statement here of them complaining about their kids and them having to take care of their husbands sometimes, or them having to take care of the home. That's their complaint. So I respond to that complaint, and that complaint is this is a temporary state of being. Now, if you then transition to, but my teenager has different issues, well, that's a different problem. I'm sorry, but that's not what we're discussing.
Okay.
My statement.
You make my money first and foremost. That's more important than all of you. $5 from Zephyr Hash. Someone tell Prime that women choose to have kids. You can't choose to have them knowing all the risks and then complain.
Hold on. No.
This is
sorry.
really
I want to respond to that.
Argument. Okay.
I'm getting so frustrated.
This is my problem with because it's conservatarian, bootstrapping, whatever bullshit. And on top of that, If you want women to enjoy having kids, then you have to create the environment in which they get to enjoy having their kids. So you can't be having the economic system where the husband, by the way, I did this, working 60 hours a week, wife is working 40, she gets 2 weeks of unpaid leave in order to shit out the baby, and then she has to hope that grandma or really expensive daycare takes over the fucking kids. So that way both parents are walking in the house dead exhausted, and they're just handing a baby back and forth to each other that they're just barely hoping to keep alive for the first couple of years. You can't have that kind of economic system if you want to say that nobody's forcing you to have a baby, and if you actually care about the next generation of parents and kids. And then what I wanted to say too is that, like, I kind of want Ali and Xerxes. Is it Xerxes or Xerxes? But
You call me Xerxes. You know.
Xerxes, like Xerxes, like the king. But anyways, the point being that, like,
it's just shorthand.
there is a window that I would say is between like 18 and 35 in which a woman is kind of prime age to have kids. And taking care of a kid, especially when they're young, I would say at minimum takes up to 2 years. And so if you're having 2 kids, then you're up to 4 years. If you're having 3 kids, you're up to 6. So that's 6 years where you can work, but your time and career ambition is going to be split. Whereas a male who doesn't have a family, doesn't care about having a family, or a woman who doesn't have a family, doesn't care about a family, her attention will not be split. And so I think, just to say skill issue, you have a fantasy about being the most successful in your career, but it's just not meant for you, and you should care about your kids more. That'll work for a healthy chunk of people, but there are women who need to have their fantasies of success addressed, or else they're going to do what they're doing now, which is they're going to choose their career over having kids because they feel like they're being enslaved by society. You have to address that issue and not just say skill issue.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of criticisms of women having criticism of women complaining that, like, but we're not really addressing what because I don't think the appropriate solution is just to snuff them out and say you guys need to shut up. You just need to stop complaining. I never said that at all. Like their complaints are legitimate. They are unhappy with how things are. I think part of the solution is also to also criticize women, but their unrest is not illegitimate, and like, so I feel like you're just snuffing them out.
Yeah, but we're here to talk about the problem with women.
Hey, one at a time. Let's go to Ali, and then we'll go to Xerxes, and then we'll go to Prime, and then Connor. Go ahead.
So, like, their wants and their needs, like, obviously what they need and what they're looking for isn't illegitimate. That's not what I'm saying, but so if a woman's out here opting for, like, career, and then that's her drive and that's her fantasy, right? And then a man is out here and, like, I don't know too many men that are, like, so career driven that they love their career so much that they love working. I think they'd rather not work and just get paid. But if both these people want to work and then they want to get married and then they want to have a family, the choices then become, okay, so we either both work and we pay for daycare, or one of us doesn't work and takes care of the kid and maybe works a part-time job. And it just seems that, like, women don't want to opt for the part where they work a part-time job, and they also don't want to opt for the part where the man stays at home and works. So the only choice that's left is we're both going to work and we're just going to pay for daycare, so now no one's raising the kid and there was no point in having that kid.
That is a scenario that's bad. That's an unfunctional system.
But we need to criticize women for that. We need to say, hey, you need to let me stay home and be a neat gamer bro who takes care of the kids, okay? For 8 hours a day, I'll be wiping asses and, changing the TV channel and exercising the baby and all that kind of shit. But then at 4 hours at night, I want to smoke a little bit of doobies and, play a little video games, and you can't say shit about it.
The vast minority of women are okay with a guy staying
They will not tolerate that shit. Yeah, they won't tolerate that shit.
It seems that the only option is to give in to their fantasy, which is, I really want to work and be a girl boss, but I also want to be a mom, but I don't want to be a mother. Like, it's just confusing.
Yeah, if they can't tolerate that shit and they can't tolerate the thought of that being their reality, then that is like, they need to tolerate that as being part of the conversation. And so that's my criticism.
Well, that's seeming to be the problem with most women, is that they don't see that that's the reality.
That's because I think that the way that we've structured the whole conversation since, like, the beginning of feminism and women's rights has been about exclusively criticizing men as the scapegoat for all of the problems of a dysfunctional system that women are also part of. So that's why
be feminism. Is this? It's a
whatever.
misnomer from
Yeah,
Jump
whatever you
Street.
want. Yeah, feminism is a bad word for it too, and I mean it's what we got now, but it's just it needs to be a deconstruction of a system that is not functional for the society we live in.
No,
Brian-
to
Brian's
summarize
having
Smeth's
a-
point,
Go ahead, counter. Go ahead,
Yeah,
counter.
to-
and then
to summarize Smeth's
Brian's
point-
having an aneurysm here.
that's fine. I'm going to explode it in his brain so he dies on stream right now. So, so basically, what Smeth is saying is that women want to have it all at the same time, but don't want to make hard choices about the logistical realities that involve having it all at the same time. And so, as a result, we as men are left to be the logisticians of their dreams to figure out how to build enough mechanical structures to give them enough life fulfillment that they will continue to want to see us naked.
And they
which
don't
has
even
been-
appreciate
More or
it.
less.
which has
They
been
don't
our
even like us.
doom. It's been our doom since the dawn of time, is attempting to satisfy women and fail.
And like I keep saying, they
Well,
don't even like us for it. They don't even like us after we bend over backwards to give them what
But
they
you gotta get
ask
over
for,
that.
what they want.
You got to get over that. And
I
the
love
reason
that.
why
I love that. I love
the
that. and that's
reason why-
beautiful.
if
Go
you'll,
ahead
if
and
you'll
make
let me
your point. Go
explain,
ahead. Mhm.
if you'll let me explain why, a
Mhm.
lot of women don't like it when you tell them what to do. They don't like it when you give them advice. You don't like them when you help them with their schedule. They don't like it when you try to help out with XYZ ABC.
That was all
They don't like the
specific.
they don't like the way that you did it when you did help out, and then they have ideas on how you could go redo the work that you already did. And so the truth is, you just got to get in there and throw elbows, because then they're kind of like, oh, wow, you actually, that's not quite the way that I would have done it, but that still kind of works. And then, basically they'll be satisfied with the results, but not with the effort.
I had a relationship, and this is a true story. I had a relationship
Wise.
where when my partner at the time would say things like, would start complaining about an issue that they were having, right? And whether it be at school, the computer, or whatever. And they'd say stuff like, and I would say, here's some ways you can make it better. And she would get mad at me for that and says, no, that's not what I want. I want you to say it's terrible. I just want you to say it's terrible.
Listen.
And so but then there will be other times where, again, she would start telling me the problem and stuff like that. And I'd say, that's terrible. She's like, no, I want you to come help me fix it. Why are you so lazy? You're not going to fix it. And I couldn't figure it out.
No, Whick, that is so important. And this is something that if there is a single young man under the age of 40 and you have not figured this out, you need to ask. If you're in a relationship with a woman, you need to ask, are you telling me this because you want me to hear it? Or are you telling me this because you want me to help you solve the problem? And if they say, I want you to help solve the problem, they will be appreciative when you help. But if they say, I just need you to listen, then you just sit there and you shut the fuck up and you listen, because if you try to solve the problem, they're going to get mad at you.
I disagree with that.
I love this.
Hold on. We got to give it to Prime for a little bit.
It's prime time, baby.
It's prime time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You said Cersei was in front of me, so I'll wait. But I'll wait till after.
So
Okay,
the one thing,
go ahead.
I'm going to make this really quick because I think it's beautiful, right? So this is a panel where we're complaining about women and saying they're the problem. And yet still, not only do we have men here to defend women, we have another man here, no offense, I like you counterpoints, telling us that we still have to accept and deal with the issues and problems of women. That's the thing. We still have to endure some of the nonsense or some of the miscommunications of women. They don't respond to us. There's no ebb and flow. And my position is not even to say that women should do everything. Not at all. I'm saying they got to come to the table too. Ebb and flow.
Yeah.
I'll do this, you do that. I'll do this, you do that. They don't even want to do it. I'm just supposed to know when you're venting and know when you want me to help you solve the problem. Why don't you just tell me?
Smeth said it earlier. You have to treat women like retarded children.
No.
And
I'm trying to say the
him
opposite.
100%.
I think
No. I'm
You just gotta treat them all. You have to treat women like retarded children. That's what he said. And I agree with him 100%.
I don't think that. No,
That's
what he
what
said.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Okay.
Verbatim.
Yeah. Okay.
That is technically what you said.
I've
but I
had
know
an
what you meant.
epiphany. I changed my mind. Okay. Because So I think that women want to be treated like retarded children. And I think that they are like raised to do that, and also men benefit from treating them like retarded children because it means that you get to like lead her and you get to have your way. And so her not acting like a retarded child, it will be more traumatic of like to her life and like from an immediate perspective. But in the long run, it's going to empower her more. And women don't realize that because we're not permitting that to happen in relationships. We see that as like abusive, like throwing elbows and stuff.
Okay.
I think that we need to have more relationships with with women where we don't like completely take care of their where we don't regulate their emotions constantly about every single fucking conflict.
Okay, 2 super chats and then we'll toss it to Prime. Okay,
2 super chats, baby.
Testicle Johnson for $5. Women just want one thing, and it's disgusting. They're always after me, Lucky Charms. Thank you for $5. Fairy Queen for $5. How many men would be happy to be a stay-at-home dad in order to be the logistician of their wives' dreams? Any thoughts? Go ahead, Prime.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, go ahead, Prime, and then we'll toss it to Ali, then we'll toss it to Connor, and then Cersei. Go ahead, Prime.
Would I be happy? No, I wouldn't be happy. Just like a lot of women aren't happy with that. Sorry, it depends. It depends. Actually, it depends on what the dream is. Like, and how close. If it's like for her to become president, right? She becomes president. And yeah, actually, I am happy that I did that. That I made that happen. Yeah. But it depends. Most likely, I probably wouldn't be happy. But anyway, like it's clear that everyone except for Counterpoints, because I know he's like really well read on these issues. But it's clear that all the rest of you like watched a few videos on feminism and like quit during the ad breaks. Like that's too much for me. The idea that feminism like doesn't challenge or interrogate systems, and instead it's all about how men are terrible. Yeah, that's the most basic shallow like pop culture driven view of feminism that there is. But sure,
okay,
look,
so
I'm not gonna be able to.
You can go into some intellectual shit that only like 50 people or like 500 people ever read.
I'm not. Hey, whose turn is it? Is it my turn? Or is it your turn? Thanks.
Hey, if you're gonna criticize me, I'm gonna fucking scream at you.
Hey, is it my turn? Is it your turn? Thanks.
You're gonna have to mute me.
So like, I'm not gonna. Hey, shut the fuck up. Thanks.
Ask Whick. Talk to Whick. He's a moderator.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the
fuck up. Thanks. Shut the fuck up.
Don't make me do my job.
Thanks.
I'm trying to make money
I make
for
you
free.
do your fucking
Shut
job.
Up.
Okay.
Shut up. I'm talking.
I help.
Shut the fuck up. Thank you. Anyway, so I'm not gonna be able to like educate you on this, like what it is, right? So, so we'll leave it at that. But like, I'm glad everyone here is like pro-choice. Like, I'm 100% super glad. What surprising, because we've had this discourse about how women choose to have pregnancies, and then they'll deal with the consequences.
You mean with the men that they chose to have sex with?
That clearly they don't all the time. Right, and so we have an infrastructure to deal with that. Shut up. Thank you. But anyway, clearly they don't, which is why we have an infrastructure to deal with that, right? But it would all be hypocritical for you to be making all these arguments and then not be pro-choice. But I was hoping for better, and it failed nonetheless. So yeah, like these conversations, like there's a lot of room here, a lot of room for talk. But if we could just like silo things, this is really all that I'm asking for here, right? I'm not saying to not have these a lot of your complaints, because I think a lot of your complaints are valid. I think they come from a place of pain, right? Like to say that men aren't being recognized for what they put into a family. I think a lot of that happens. I think like their lives aren't valued in general, which is why we could just so freely say, well, yeah, men will do the fighting in a war, right? We're just going to throw bodies of men into a war machine for a task, and that just to be okay. That we just kind of assume that
Whick is going to keep me muted out of
spite. So I'm here with you. That these things are the case, but like let's silo these things to the applicable audiences, right? So if you want to talk about women who are hypergamous, let's talk about women who are hypergamous and how that devalues men for like the individuals that they are, because that's the thing that exists, right? If you want to say that some women I guess undervalue the role of like motherhood and what exactly that means, then let's talk about that. But instead, what we'll keep doing here, saying, no, this is all women. This is the problem with women in general. Like, I'm just asking you to like raise the IQ of this conversation just a little bit, not even much.
Can we get
Operate
to
with some
average? Good faith? Can we
Hopefully.
operate with some good faith? Because this is hilariously bad faith. At no point, and I'm going to speak for everyone here, believes that any statement made is applicable to all women. That's nonsense, okay? No one here believes that. No one here thinks that. If we say women, informally we mean in general, in my experience, I have seen a consistent track record of this behavior. Guess what? Here's a funny thing that I have literally never seen a panel on. I haven't seen a very long form video essay on the self-loathing that women have. Never seen it. Haven't seen anyone talk about. I'm the only
Women's
person I know.
Women's are coming up. Women's problems with women's are coming up.
I need to go look at it, right? I need to go look at it then, right? Because
I'm joking.
Very seldom. Oh, you're joking? So it doesn't exist. So I know that there's a huge problem with women's self-loathing and how much they dislike themselves. That being said, we're not even talking about that
on my
yet.
channel. We've talked about that.
One of the biggest issues that we're having here, just in this conversation, right, is we can't even get to. Let's just talk about the issues that we're having with them without someone to come. But actually, wait, no, women have a different. That's not what we're here for right now. We understand
It's okay when he
that
fucking
there's
butts in
multiple
to
different
correct
reasons
somebody.
to get X woman to X result or to Y result. But right now, let's discuss the fact that there is a huge lack of appreciation that a lot of women, not all, have for young men. We saw in the panel, what was it, last week, where women, they at no point did any woman stop to defend men in that panel with Whick. They didn't stop to say, well, hold on. They didn't do what either of you guys did here. They just kept going. They just kept going. They just kept going about how bad we
the
are.
fact that we want to talk about this. We're just trying to have a fun conversation, man.
It's ridiculous though. Like, hold on. There's endless YouTube videos about women talking about how they loathe themselves, how they loathe how they look, right? How they loathe their status in life, right? Like there's like it's a whole genre within YouTube. I'm the only one. We found the one person who understands that women might have like low self-esteem, might dislike how society treats them, right?
But there are no young men like
have
that,
an adverse view.
Yeah, and aren't those YouTube channels like giant fucking hug boxes?
But we pretend like I'm the only one, guys.
Yeah,
I've cracked.
Yeah, aren't those all giant
women
fucking hug boxes?
And women themselves are talking about.
Okay, let me make my money. $5 from Drexel. Of married women with children, 40% reported very happy, compared to 25% of married childless women and just 22% of unmarried childless women. And then $10 from Fairy Queen to say women who are not married and do not have children are the happiest group in the population, a prominent expert in happiness has said. Dr. Pohl. So we have some competing statistics in the super chat. You guys should super chat more statistics for me to read. Yeah. But I want to go to counterpoints real quick, but then we got to get Ali in here. So counterpoints. Yeah. We got to pass it to Ali.
Yeah, so I would be really curious to talk or see what that happiness expert has to say, because basically, like, I don't view happiness as the only metric of life. As a matter of fact, I think that we become like too obsessed with happiness, like satisfaction, contentment, purpose. These are all different than happiness. For me, like, happiness is like, it's ephemeral, it's fleeting. And as a result, I've stopped pursuing it. Also, same thing with like pleasure. Like, pleasure is awesome, but pleasure is not the same as happiness, and pleasure is not the same as contentment, and it's not the same as purpose. So there are things that are more important than happiness. And I would be curious how the single women with fucking cats waiting to die by choking on fucking salads by themselves in their 60s are happier than everybody else. I'd be curious how that statistic actually bears out. But this is the thing. I just want to bring this here. So we're all dancing around, you know, like, what's our problem with women? I feel like I've been relatively forthright with some of my objections of them as a gender, but then the suggestions from Smeth so far have been like, well, we need to hold them to a higher standard and encourage them to participate in culture a different way, which I agree with. But I also don't have time for that shit. I have a woman. She's in my house. She's expecting me to take out the trash later. I'm going to have to take out the trash. And if I say, honey, it's 40 degrees outside and there's a rat king, which is 9 rats tied together at one, by their tails, and it's snarling at me, she's going to say, suck it up, you pussy. You're the man. You go do it. So I don't get to fucking go back and be like, well, Smeth says that you need to reconsider women in the male-dominated spaces
grow
of
a
taking out the
backbone.
trash.
Grow a backbone. You have to grow a backbone.
Yeah, I'm less scared of the rat king than I am of her.
It's gonna suck. But it's gonna that kind of relationship's gonna suck.
No, then the
Hold
trash
on.
is not going out. And by the way,
But
no.
counterpoints, my man.
Our hold on real quick. I just want to address what Smith said. Our relationship is fine, but it's fine because I fulfill the traditional masculine roles and she fulfills a majority of the traditional feminine roles.
I believe
and
you.
then together we make a whole human being. So me trying to reorient all of fucking culture is a way more tall order than fulfilling the archetypes.
No. Hold on. You can reorient it within your own relationship, but it's going to mean that there's going to be a lot of conflict. And every time that you don't fulfill your role and you're not treating her like a retarded child or whatever, then she's going to freak her the fuck out. And you're going to be the bad guy a lot.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
Well, I think it is.
But here's my issue, bro. I'm sorry, Smith. I might have to pick this up for you.
Well,
Why isn't your
we gotta
wife
get to Ali at some
meeting
point.
you there? That's true. I'm sorry, Ali. But I do want to get to why isn't your wife meeting you there as well, my man? Where's the appreciation? Where's the value? Why is it always you do this, you do where's her balance to balance out your willingness to do this? And I'm not saying you shouldn't, and this is very important. I'm sorry, I'm going to hand it to you. I'm not saying as a man you shouldn't be a man. I'm saying if we have to fight, we should fight. But where is that love and appreciation? Where is that?
I'll tell you.
Thank you for being here for me.
Okay, $2 from
sometimes. Yeah, sometimes
do bitches be less capable?
Bitches do be less capable. But sometimes it's verbal, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's in the logistician support of my dreams and all that kind of stuff. It comes back in those ways. But the ways that I appreciate the most, that I think most men do, and this is part of the reason why they accept the transactional dynamic of all relationships and modern relationships, is because she's given me 2 beautiful, happy, healthy, emotionally stable, smart children. And so as a result, I'm willing to take on the transactional relationship. What I feel bad for, because I have my sons that I can look in the eye, beautiful, strong sons. What I feel bad for is men who are being met with those same demands, but then they don't get the transaction back. They don't get children or their support for their dreams or whatever. They just get a very demanding woman with no sacrifice. And for me, my heart actually breaks, because if you have a wildly transactional relationship without any kind of payoff on your end, then I think that's actually really sad.
Okay, speaking of really sad, Ali, go ahead.
I just want to start by saying to Prime, I am a feminist. And as a feminist, I want women and I expect women to do better in the situations that we have. So you were talking about videos where women are crying about that they're lonely or they don't feel love. And to Xerxes' point, he's saying that women don't feel love. They don't have that affection. They're not giving it. I think you were saying, right?
Mm-hmm,
Was that what you were
saying?
Yeah,
they don't give it to men. They don't even like men, let alone love them.
Yeah. So, in the history for men dating and everyone going, men would go, they'd find a job, and then they tried to find a lady, and then the lady would be their wife, and then that was the role that was given. The new role came in where women started to find a job, and they want to find happiness in their career and in their fulfillments in that, right? We don't know how to deal with that other half of the relationship, where we come in, we have these expectations that are set on us. And this is what we know how to do. They picked up new expectations, and we have to learn to cater to those expectations. We don't know how to cater to them. And since they have these expectations and these new fulfillments, they're focusing more on themselves, less on their partners, or they're at least looking for partners less. And therefore, I think that's what's causing them to be lonely. They're, like I said, it's all about them. They're focusing on themselves, their goals, their dreams, their careers, not in tie with anyone else. When I'm thinking about working, when I'm thinking about having a career, in my future plans, I want to have a wife, I want to have kids, I'm planning for that. Them, when they're planning for their future, is I just want to have this career. If I get a husband and a kid, we'll deal with it then. We'll get to that bridge when we cross it. And that's a big issue.
Exactly.
I'm
Not
gonna
only
do
is it a big issue,
real quick, just real quick. I'm gonna do a lightning
for
round real
multiple
quick.
things at once.
Just real quick. I want to do a lightning round real quick where you guys just
They're
really
failing
quickly
to do
answer
two things at once.
yes
That's
or
the
no.
whole issue.
Yeah, they're clearly like men are the ones who are planning for multiple things at once, and women are just focused on the one thing.
Who
And that causes
sacrifices
disaster.
more
Clearly.
generally in a relationship, men or
what's
women?
this
Lightning
conversation?
round.
Men.
Who sacrifices more, men or women in a relationship in general? Men,
with or
Yeah,
without
nice
kids.
to see you, Tryptamine.
just in general, just
Men.
normal.
It's still men.
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 So men with kids,
Wait.
men.
With kids, women. Without kids, men.
Okay, Prime.
So you're asking me who sacrifices
In
more
general,
within
in a relationship, men or women.
I think
who
they
sacrifices
sacrifice
more?
different things, right? I just think they
Okay.
sacrifice different things.
Refuses to answer. Okay, Smeth. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
Women.
Women. Okay, so men without kids, women with kids, men.
It's not about
refuse to
kids.
answer.
It's not about
It-
kids.
it-
It's I can.
That was my answer.
It's because we parent them and we treat them like retarded children. So they sacrifice themselves as like an independent human being when we do that.
Okay, why do men sacrifice more for those on that side?
What do you mean?
You think
why
I
do-
want to work?
I think honestly everything men do is in pursuit of woman or the woman that they're with.
Yeah.
So it's like
Or their
honestly
children.
just everything is given off to the other side.
Yo,
Yeah,
can I
as
hit you with a
between-
meme real quick? You know that
for
that
it.
meme of the apartment with the fucking lawn chair with an Xbox on the ground and a fucking 32-inch TV? And it's like
Yes.
men will live with this and they'll see nothing wrong with it. I have a beautifully furnished house. I have things organized back here. I have pieces of artwork in my common area and photographs on the fucking wall. You think I want any of that shit? Do you know how much a fucking Xbox and a 32-inch TV and a fucking lawn chair cost? It's less than $400. That's how much I need to furnish a house. My house is not furnished because of me. It's furnished because I have a fucking family.
Yup.
Yeah.
It's her house. You just live in it, which is fine. You get the comforts. You get the couch, the nice smells.
I get to trash one room and you're looking at it.
Right, but that's kind of the thing, right? See, this is kind of what I'm saying, though, right? Like, as men, we just are supposed to accept and put up with this. Okay, fine, we accept and we put up with this. But why is it wrong for me to say, well, why can't I be loved? Why can't I be cared for? Why can't I be protected? Why can't I be vulnerable? Why can't I expect anything from a young lady? You
Women,
can
we're
go
going to
to
have.
house
Hey,
first,
hold on.
and the reason why you have that house.
Hold on. Women, we're going to have Collins in an hour, and you can tell Xerxes exactly why he can't have them.
Oh, I want them. By all means, yes, please. I want them to come.
We'll have that in an hour. We're going to get
Prime
through
gave
this.
me the smoke.
I want to answer
Because-
this directly.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, one, you need to accept a transactional relationship where you provide,
would
because
like to
that's
say,
where a
I
lot
want
of people
women
who
to
want
come
a
too.
partnership and a family and all that kind of stuff, that's where a lot of those people are going to be. Number two, you can drop your standards to the floor, and you can basically have a unattractive, unpleasant person who will give you hugs and cuddle and watch Netflix with you and eat Reese's Cocoa Puff cereal. She's
That
not going to
person's
look
not
like
unpleasant. Hold on.
she's
that's
not
unpleasant.
gonna look the way that you want her to look, and she might not smell the way that you want her to smell, but she's out there. I can
She
find
can
her for
take
you
a
if you
shower.
want.
That's easy. She can take a shower. That's easy.
Okay,
she can
well,
go to the gym.
then-
I'll work out with her.
Showers
See,
don't
and that's
fix
what I'm saying.
everybody.
Because here's my
No,
problem,
listen.
right? Here's my problem. This is what people love to reply with. They love to reply, well, she's not going to be pretty. God damn if she's pretty. Is she kind? Is she honorable? Is she wise? Does she have life experiences? There's something so much more important and powerful about women than whether or not she fits any sexual desire that I have. Like, I can work with that. My question is, again, I'm willing
Go to
accept.
christianmingle.com.
Literally, if someone were to come inside the house, I am willing to die to keep her safe. If I'm willing to die for her, bruh, why can't I be emotionally vulnerable? Why can't I be cared for? Why can't I get more than just one room in the corner to mess around with? Why do I
think
have
you
to
can.
fit all these different demands?
Well, the thing is,
I think-
what I'm saying is there should be ebb and flow. There should be, I'm giving you this, you give me that. So to
That
me,
exists.
there's a lot of men do this, do this, do this, do this. But if I say, give me a little bit more,
There
I
are
do
women who do
protest
that.
You should give more.
There are women who do that,
Heavens,
but not a lot don't. I mean, I agree. I agree with you. I think men shouldn't give up and placate women and like I'm afraid of spiders. Like every time there's a spider and it needs to be you that takes care of it. It doesn't matter that you're asleep and it's like 2:00 in the morning or whatever. Like I need you to wake up and like I don't think that men should like women don't have the experience. Like not all women. Like there are women that aren't like this. But like a lot of women, they grow up and everybody still treats them like a kid. And if you are the guy who doesn't do that, you're a fucking asshole. You seriously, like that's how she's gonna see you, and it's really traumatic. But also, it's good for her. She it's actually going to empower her to not be treated like that. And we are so afraid to piss off women.
I think you're calling
Dude,
baby and
let me interject, and then we'll give it to let me interject, then we'll give it to Prime. So one, men in a very real way, and I'm speaking generally here, are no longer allowed to be the main character. They're just no longer allowed to be the main character in their lives. They just aren't. They are there as to fulfill a support role.
Yo, thanks for the raid, Brandon.
Even for women who want to be a stay-at-home mom or what have you, we are to help them do that, help them fulfill their dreams, help them fulfill their goals. That, again, societally, in general, is the role of the man. And if we try to be the main character, if we try to put our needs first, if we try to take time for ourselves, and at the detriment of them, we are seen as monsters, toxic, toxically masculine, all these things. These labels are put upon us. We are denigrated. We are an asshole. We need to be left, etc. We do not deserve to be the main character, in a very real way. Responses to that, we'll go to Prime first, and then we'll hear. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, and $2 from Adarius. I don't care if she's pretty. From a
welcome,
liar. Okay,
welcome to the Smeth thing.
But Prime, go ahead.
Shoot, she's my wife. I don't care.
I honestly don't care to respond to that. I think it's really, really low IQ. Thank you, Whick, for that. But anyway, moving on. I actually wanted to build a bridge to Zoixi here because I thought he said something interesting. Talked about his desire to be vulnerable within a relationship and have a back and forth with his spouse or partner, and that maybe even when it comes to like managing of the physical space, right? That you're like physically you are restricted in your areas, and because I need this house to look like this, and I want to present it like this, and like you had different ideas, and that's a problem. So we're just gonna hide that in a room over here. Yeah, I think that's actually something interesting, something to talk about. In fact, at least with the emotional vulnerable part, like that's the thing I brought up at the very start of this. So I think there are that's the thing that we can come together over. That, but I want to kind of combine that with what Counterpoint said. Just to be honest, to be real, right? Like Counterpoints brought up how men will tolerate when left to their own devices, simply an awful environment, right? Like in college. So I had I was on a split dorm, right? Like a split floor where it was half men, half women on the same floor, right? And I remember traveling to the women's dorms. I just I'm there visiting friends, and it was just amazing. It smelled nice. It was it felt like a completely different area, and they just made their environment in that way. And the guys, on the other hand, it's not like they hated themselves, but we just didn't care for our environment the same way. So I mean, I'm guessing that might have something to do with it. But still, if you want to have your physical space being your home, right, the home that you guys bought together, reflect your ideas, then it should as well. Yeah,
that's why I have this room.
My cousin just got married. They redid their home. Her husband, God bless him. If you walk into their home, it is just all cream and flowers and gold, and he has his basement with the neon lights and his his little superhero posters.
Need a man cave.
I'm like,
Brett said under the house.
You bought a house to live in the basement, based.
Under the house, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So men not being allowed to be the main character. So I think this is an American or Western conception of
to be clear, I am talking about men in the West, men in Iraq or Iran or some different.
Well, yeah, but I think we should
different lines.
learn. I think we should learn something from other cultures, which is basically like the truth is that I think a lot of progressives and lefties or whatever, or feminists, they'll criticize the institution of marriage as saying that it's dehumanizing to the partners, it's a contract, it's about material exchange and all that kind of stuff. But then they're kind of failing to recognize that these material exchanges are important. The reason why you're marrying somebody is because you're promising that you're not going to go anywhere and they're not going to go anywhere. So if you have kids, you're going to take care of each other. If you get sick, if you get injured, if something goes wrong, you're going to take care of each other in sickness and health until death do us part. For richer or poorer, which is like these are real roller coasters of life that take out a lot of relationships. But the whole point of that promise is to give a solid foundation on which to build a life together. And so it is a transactional relationship. It is a material relationship, but that doesn't mean it's not important. And so I think that when you become a partner in a relationship and it's not a hookup and it's not like a casual thing, then you have to say, it's not just me, it's us. We're a team. We're working together. And this is something that my wife and I had to work on. Sometimes when we're getting our asses kicked, we will like unconsciously just start playing the who has it worse game, where we talk about like who got less sleep, who got worse food, who worked for longer that day, who's more tired, who's more sick, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like a competition to see who had the worst day. But really, we should be talking about how we're on the same team and we're pushing in the same direction. So how do I make your day better versus how do you make my day better, and how do we work together? And we've had to consciously recognize that verbal pattern and then consciously choose to get onto each other's teams. And then just while I have the floor, I just want to give this like a little bit of advice to men or whatever. It's like, be comfortable being uncomfortable. If you disappoint a woman, especially as a young man, you're going to have this instinct to try to fix everything. Don't try to fix everything, because what you're kind of showing is that like you don't care about your self-esteem or self-worth or self-respect. And as a result, they're not going to respect you either. If there's an unreasonable ask, do not fulfill that ask. And you can also like make a promise. Like if there's an unreasonable ask, say like, hey, listen, I'm really tired. I just got off of a 14-hour shift. Can I do that tomorrow? You know, that kind of thing. And even building that space for yourself is incredibly important. Then bring enough to the table that you can disappoint. What I mean by that is that if you're in shape, you're healthy, you're attractive, you have a decent job, et cetera, if your fucking girlfriend is like, well, you got me slightly cheaper flowers on Valentine's Day, then you can tell that girl to go fuck yourself. Like I'm paying attention. I got you something nice. If you don't like it, eat a dick. And women, weirdly enough, they like it when you set boundaries. Pick your battles. Yeah. Pick your battles versus forcing someone to grow. I think Smeth was talking about forcing people to grow.
No.
I'm going to hold on. I'm going to take out the spiders because it's very easy for me. I'm not scared of spiders. I don't have arachnophobia. I kind of like them. I think they're cool creatures. I want to keep them alive. I'll put a little glass jar on top of them. I'll get an envelope. I'll slide it underneath. I'll put them outside. Perfectly fine for me. Doesn't bug me at all. If there's dog poop, we're out walking the dogs, I'll pick up the dog poop. Not a big deal. It's disgusting. It's gross. I get it, but I don't give a fuck. But my wife learned to shoot guns and will learn to drive a manual transmission because even though it makes her uncomfortable, I'm going to force her to grow. And she's not going to like me for that hour or two that I'm teaching her something uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, she's going to grow as a person and she's going to like me more at the end of it. Not during, but at the end.
Force women to do things that they don't want to do from counterpoints. We're here for it. Okay, thank you for that.
We're pro-slavery in this chat.
I mean, that's being a human, bro. That's just life.
I want to give it to Smeth. I want to give it to Smeth. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I think that it's not about forcing women to grow. It's honestly more selfish. I think it's just that you shouldn't suffocate yourself to placate them. So if something's like really important to you, like you don't like that you literally are like limited to the man cave and anything you do outside the man cave is like offensive, then you need to advocate for yourself. And in doing that, like you said, maybe doing that will really piss her off. But honestly, if she like breaks up with you, like the guy who doesn't do that, she's gonna hate him. He's just gonna like be like so weaselly and pathetic, and like she actually like he's not really even present. Well, like it's just that she's willing to be more present than he is, and he's just being subservient. It's not about being a man; it's about being an equal. And I think women actually want you to be their equal. And so
Well, not at all. No, they
So-
don't. They want the opposite. They want you to be the superior.
Well,
actually.
okay. Well, there's conflicting things. So there's like wants, and then there's like, so like I said, like short term, like that's what it makes sense in the short term, but in the long term, like it's detrimental to the relationship. And so I think if that's why I'm saying if she got a new relationship, it would be obvious in the long term. But something that came up earlier, how women's spaces tend to be nicer and like smell better and stuff than men's spaces. That's actually not like a men's like that's not a woman's like problem. That's like a men's problem. We don't think that we can make that happen. We can actually make our space better, but we think that we don't deserve to do that, or we think it's not worth the energy because we want to focus our energy on grinding and shit, or like we actually can just make that happen. We feel like we need to get impress a woman so that she can make us like build us a home, but we can actually do a lot of that ourselves. And so so we are just like women are offloading some of their self-loathing onto us. We're unloading our self-loathing onto them.
$5
So,
from
I
Jessica
wanted
Johnson.
to-
Just real quick,
I wa- I
$5.
wa-
Don't
Okay,
listen to
sorry, I
Connor.
didn't hear you.
The key to a
Right.
woman's heart is to send her flaccid dick pics. Must be flaccid. Thank you for the $5. Okay, Prime and Cersei.
Yeah. So, Xerxes, you said I was being bad faith before. So okay, right? You made a statement. Women want the men to be superior or something along
Absolutely,
those lines,
yes.
right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, right? Because I want to be good faith in your definition. I'm going to ask you, who are you talking about specifically?
I'm talking about an easy 95% of women, even feminists, in their mate selecting choices. When you see the men that they pick, oftentimes are bigger than they are, they're stronger than they are, sometimes they're smarter, sometimes they have higher education, sometimes they make, well, most of the time, they make more money than they do. So in every one of those metrics, that man is her superior. That's what she desires.
Because she can.
She doesn't pick a man who's overweight and weak and makes less money than her. She doesn't. That's not generally the men that women select.
So
That's facts. Yeah.
okay, first of all, sexual
Is he funny, though?
dimorphism is a thing. I don't like sexual dimorphism is a thing. I don't know. So that's going to happen more often.
So
than not,
women
because
so women don't have to pick men who are taller than them. They don't
don't.
have to pick men who are physically fit. They don't have to pick men that make more money. They don't have to do any of that.
True.
And yet they still choose to do so. So it doesn't matter if sexual dimorphism is a thing because women select men who are bigger than them, sometimes smarter than them, makes more money than them, more ambitious, more protective, more XYZ.
I'm not sure.
That's facts.
Then why would that have? What would that do? Okay, sorry. I'm not gonna. That's fine.
But why wouldn't they? Like
so,
it's just.
I guess.
Sorry.
I'm not disputing why they should or shouldn't. I'm saying that's the facts.
I'm just trying to narrow it down by dominant. But for dominant for you, that's
I
just
said
to mean-
superior.
or
Not dominant,
superior.
superior.
Dominant superior. Okay, that. So what you really meant is superior. It has something that they don't have. Is that really what you're?
More
narrowing
than
in?
what they have. It's not have something more.
Smarter,
More
stronger, better
courageous,
looking,
more virtuous.
better paid.
Let me give
all
you
that.
a great example. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Let me give you another example. I hope you guys remember when that the one swindle, and I'll explain it's a swindle. When the one woman said, "This guy hit me with a brick," and her face was all swelled up, right? Me and my friends did some research. We found out that she had done that before. She had done the whole shuck and jive. Some man hit me, made a GoFundMe to get recovery funds, right? And people paid out the wazoo, right? Again, rinse and repeat, did the same thing. Turns out she just put some, I forgot what substance she put in her face, but a nurse drained it out of her, told another person. They did the whole whoop-de-woo, the whole research, right? What's interesting
it
about
feels so
that
to me.
is the response that a lot of women had. A lot of women, I remember this one. I made a video about this one, right? Where she said something along these lines. I can't say it verbatim, but here's the gist. She said, "So, men, if you aren't dating us, if we're not your family, if we're not special, if there's no, way for you to be with us in some way, our lives don't matter." And I just sat there befuddled. I'm like, so what you're saying is, if I'm a perfect stranger, you should still protect me from a man with a brick. So when I say superior, I mean even heroically, I'm gonna put myself in danger to fight a man with a brick to protect a stranger I don't know. They want you to be Spider-Man. They want you to be Superman. But if I say, maybe you could be a little nice, maybe you can appreciate us, you guys still have to defend them. And that's crazy to me. Because I'm not saying that men shouldn't protect women. I'm not saying that men shouldn't be nice to women. I'm saying there's gotta be something coming back. And
So
I don't see what's wrong
who
with
pushed
saying there
back
should be something
on
coming
that
back.
women should be nice to men? Who pushed back here?
You? Smith?
I pushed
No.
back. I said that women shouldn't have to be nice to men. Please rewind the VOD for that. Like, I would love to find out where I've said that. So clearly that's not the case. So nice straw man.
The
That's just
only
like-
the only
what I'm
thing
trying to-
the
okay,
only
so
thing I
going
haven't
nowhere.
the only
So
contention.
I need
we
you guys
should
to
all
be clear then.
more respectful and kinder to each other. Right? It's like that's my
Yeah.
political project. Is that we should all be.
Wait,
here's
wait.
the
My only
question
contention.
then.
Can I give you
Why
my
is it-
contention? Just like really brief.
Give the contention real quick, Smith.
It's
And then
just-
then
it's-
I want to.
I agree with you, except for it sounds like you're saying that like men should be entitled to women being nice to them, and that's not true. Like women should be.
God forbid. So women are entitled to men to die for them. Women are entitled to men to protect them physically. But God forbid, women are entitled to be nice to us?
But
Are you kidding me?
the thing about that is just like I think it's because we are stronger. Like the strong have to protect the weak. It's just a human code.
Okay. So once again, men have to adhere to with great power comes great responsibility. That's perfect. That's essentially what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because men are physically stronger and because men are good and morally virtuous, we must fight the evil men. And you say that we're just supposed to do it. But it's wrong if I suggest, and I didn't even say this, but just suggest that men are entitled to women being nice.
Well, no, but
we
like,
should
what if
die
you
for
don't
them,
do it? What
but
if
God forbid they're nice to us?
No, if you
Defend
save
that,
her,
please.
if you save a woman from an attacker, she should probably like be grateful. Yes.
Okay.
But like it's not crazy for you to be entitled to expect her to be grateful after you save her fucking life. But if you don't, there's no reason for her to be nice to you. Like you don't deserve anything from her. You haven't done anything.
And
Cersei,
so why does she deserve men dying for
Can I
her?
address this? Can I? Yeah, I want to address
Go
this.
ahead, Connor.
So the specific thing is that some not all men fight and die and serve the noble goal for all women. And oftentimes women's experiences that I think that almost every woman I know could probably back up is men pretend that they all have some kind of stake in this grand male plan of self-sacrifice and work and all that kind of shit. Therefore, you should talk to me or let me catcall you or let me pinch your ass or let me flirt with you inappropriately during an inappropriate setting or something like that.
That's very immoral behavior, though. That's not virtuous.
You're right. But sometimes that's misplaced hostility. So for instance, I think we've all seen like the TikToks recently where a guy walks up to a girl in a social space, like a coffee shop, and is like, hey, my name's John. Do you mind if I sit with you? Can I talk to you? Whatever. And the girl's like, ew, get the fuck away from me. Like, that's not a reasonable female response. She should just say, hey, listen, I'm not interested. I appreciate the interest, but I'm just trying to spend some time alone. Have a nice day. That should be the fucking response. But that hostility is coming from the fact that some men feel entitled to women's time and attention and they haven't earned it. So, I hate to go transactional relationships.
So this is what this is so crazy. No, I have to
Hold on. Okay. Because the problem, Cersei, is you're long-winded, so I want Prime to get in his question before. So Prime, make your question concise.
Very quick question. Yeah. So it's just to narrow this conversation, right? Because you're saying you're asking, can't I say that women should be nicer to men? All right, but that's like a very vague statement. So I'm just asking to be more specific. What exactly, in what area should women be nicer to men? And then I think we can have a more fruitful conversation.
When they're getting hit on in the coffee shop.
About that specifically, but
I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't hear you. Say it again, please.
Well, he said getting hit on in the coffee shop. I think that's a pretty good example. But I could
So specifically, you're talking about within the context of a dating relationship that like.
Or casual social interactions.
No. That's your answer. Counter. That's your answer. I want to know what Cersei's asking. So Cersei, like, is the thing that is where women need to be nicer within a dating relationship rather than like, I don't know, as a coworker or anything like that? You mean specifically like, or like when men approach women in the street? What exactly do you want?
You give him a minute.
Give me one moment. My niece, she needs something.
Okay. In the meantime, gang, while waiting for her to do that, gang, if you're liking the stream, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching me on Twitch or Kick, hit that follow button. Subs, bits, super chats. We'll read them. I'll ask the questions to the panelists. And again, in about 40 minutes or so, we'll have some call-ins as well. So if you've been sitting there mauling in chat, which I've seen some of you doing, saying, what is this guy on? Make sure you call in and tell them all about it. But I guess I'll address this, right? Like, so
I'm
I
back.
think Counter, if I may,
I can
I think
address
Counter,
it.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I think Counter made a great point, right? That there is some misplaced anger, right? That obviously not all men are jerks, but some men are, and women, having dealt with men enough, will wrongly, in my opinion, assume that the person approaching them is going to be a jerk too, so they'll respond misplaced. That's not good. That's something we should condemn. That said, right? I think the same thing happens in reverse as well. If we want to understand why women act like hey they do, we have to understand why some men act like they do. And I think that a lot of these things are men have been hurt by women who have been treated them like ass, treated them who haven't respected them, who've treated them like basically piggy banks, who have made them do everything and given them nothing. And again, as Counter said earlier, it makes them bitter, and this creates this kind of like feedback loop that's pretty destructive. And the asymmetry I see, that we will condemn men for that, but we won't condemn women the same way. We'll say, oh, that's understandable. And the asymmetry, I think, is where we need to go. $2 from Zephyr Hash, 1 hour, 20 minutes. I still don't know the problem with women. Well, we're going to get to that.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
Talking.
I said it in the first 10 minutes.
I also said it in the first 10 minutes. So
We keep
so I'm gonna
focusing
try
on
to hit
defending
two
our
birds-
opinions.
Well, that exact. I know, right? So two birds, one stone with this one, right? So one thing I think is really interesting is the concept that a man has to earn a woman, right? And if I should suggest that a woman should do anything to earn a man, that a woman should appreciate what the man is doing, then we have to defend that. I have to spend X amount of time to even protect that conclusion. We say that men feel quote unquote entitled to a woman. I think that's a beautiful point to be made, because a lot of people don't actually analyze why would a man feel quote unquote entitled to trying to talk to a woman. Could it perhaps be the upfront investment as a man that we have to do? I have to put myself in this social situation, risk embarrassment to begin this interaction. Most people just say as a man, just eat that, just get over it. Okay, if she says yes, I have to take her on a date. Okay, just eat that, just accept it. I have to spend my money on it. Eat that, accept that. I'm supposed to have had a house. Nowadays, I'm supposed to have already been financially stable, have a house before I even approach her. Nowadays, I'm supposed to be physically strong. I'm supposed to be in the gym. Look at this thing I got back here. I'm supposed to do all of that before I get to her. There's this upfront investment as a man I have to do to get the quote unquote right to earn a woman. And then after all of that, we besmirch men for being entitled to woman's attention. Now let me just close with this, because this is extremely important, right? What did women tell young men since the time that they were teenagers, since the time they were young? What did they tell us that they wanted in a man? They told us everything. They want a man to be nice to them, be a gentleman, hold the door, be a provider, do X, do Y, be Z. And very many young men did exactly what they asked, and women then said, ugh, no, not you. Maybe him. But he didn't do what you asked. I don't care. I want him. But he's the opposite of what you asked for. I still want him. So we get on young men for being entitled. We get on young men for feeling like they should be able to go talk to women after they did all of this different work, after all the upfront investment. And then when men see women pick the men who didn't do those things, we then get on those men for feeling crazy. We then get on those men for being
$5 from Cryborn. $5 from Cryborn. The problem with women is men. $5 from Mantis to say bottom right needs to touch grass. Okay, respond Prime.
So hold on. But like, where? Because you're moving on to another thing about like entitlement, which is fine.
That was
but,
just
like,
the first thing to address. You want specific examples of how women can be nice.
So
which
can we start
get
with?
to,
Can we? I'm just please ask what specifically.
Exactly.
Where specifically should women be nicer to men so that we can actually engage?
I'll give you a great example, right? Let's say we go on a date, right? And let's say that the check is about to come in, and I say, "Don't worry, I got you." And I pull out my wallet, and it's a Velcro wallet, and I open it, and it goes, and I pull out my card to pay. She should not get the ick and be
Okay.
disgusted by my Velcro wallet. God forbid she just accepts or buy me a different wallet. The date could have been great, but I did one wrong thing, and that's have a Velcro wallet, and now it's dead.
From
she
Moon
could be
Cake
a lot nicer
Moon
there.
Cake in chat, who owns the Velcro wallet? I'd be disgusted. Fair enough.
So hold
Thank you.
on. But you're saying so the thing that you are upset about is that women don't appreciate your style and
classist.
wallet. So you would like people to just like acknowledge that you have different tastes in wallet. Is that what you want women to do?
I want women to not care about my Velcro wallet. I actually don't have one, but just for the sake of discussion, I want women to not get the quote-unquote ick because I have a Velcro wallet. I don't want my entire presentation.
So you don't want them to react in the hypothetical situation that you created. Okay,
Well,
I think that
I
you
actually
can.
did.
No,
Here's the
come
irony. I didn't
on!
create that I've seen women say
You
that
said
they get the ick from Velcro wall. So technically, I'm not even making it up.
Moon Cake is
That's
in my
someone-
chat right
that's
now.
what they
saying
do.
Well,
that.
but hold on, but Wick. This is why this conversation is worthless. Like I asked right specifically because before I was being bad faith, right? I was being bad faith. Excuse me, I almost done. I was being bad faith, and that I was making too many assumptions, and so I asked specifically, where do you want women to be nice? So he presents a
Give me an
hypothetical
example.
situation that didn't actually happen to him.
You know,
right?
okay, no,
He
that's
says-
fair. That's fair.
And then,
That's
hold
fair.
on, hold on, let me finish.
Let's
And then he
finish,
says,
but then I have a question for Xerxes.
he says, sure. He says that he's seen this somewhere, right? But the thing that he's talking about is that during dates, he wants women to appreciate different styles of wallet. When
No,
he's
that's
been given the
No,
floor,
that's not even
that's
Thank
what
you,
it was.
Alex. Thank you, Alex.
Right,
Thank you,
then-
Alex.
okay, please
Talk
explain
about
it.
missing the
Please.
point. Go ahead,
Please.
Alex.
Okay, so his point is that you can do everything perfectly, and the one thing that doesn't matter, which would be the style of his wallet, she gets completely turned off by that when everything else went perfectly. That was where his point is saying that
Okay.
she's turned off
To
completely by
Xerxes,
that.
to Xerxes, I do have a question.
Wallet.
Because Prime is right. This was a hypothetical. Could you give us a specific example of why women have found you ick?
Yeah, I've given.
Now, a personal
That's a
example of
trap.
a date where a
Listen,
specific
watch
woman
this.
has
Watch-
found
and
you
I'll,
ick.
and I'll tell you.
Complaining.
Right? It's gonna be really interesting, right? It's gonna be really weird. And here's something: the red pill doesn't address this. When I give women the ick by being kind to them, ain't that interesting? I give women the ick for doing what's right.
You're
for
being too nice,
patient,
my boy.
For being kind, and,
Yep.
and that's the thing, too nice. And isn't that crazy? That virtue, kindness,
I think it's actually
doing what's right,
passive aggressiveness.
gives them the ick.
Yep.
Oh, it's passive aggressive.
No,
Yes.
I
So
got
if she had a bad day, something awful happened to her. I say, you know what? Let me help you out here. So let me try to be kind to you, do something good
Nah.
for you. And now she's like, ugh, that's passive aggressive.
No, I just
You gotta
know
help
that
me
you
with
are
that one.
passive aggressive.
Conversations.
You gotta help me with that one.
I've had DM
Yeah, help me.
conversations with women
Go
I've
ahead,
tried
man.
to get at, where this is for example, I talked to them, I was being nice. I talked to her, I was being nice. Nothing panned out. I sent her a picture of a video, cooking video. She said of pasta. She said, "Oh, I don't eat pasta." I said, "No one asked you if you ate pasta. Do you know how to make this?" She then detailed how well she cooks, how her family loves her cooking, how she's the best cook. You got to be mean, bro. You can't be nice.
Let me piggyback off that. Let me tell you a real goofy thing I did. I did an
Just
experiment on
vibing. She's gonna vibrate in a second.
This is to him, right? This is so interesting, right? One thing that I found, which is again crazy, that if you send a mean first message on OkCupid, you're gonna get like a 70% response. If you just pick at her just a little bit, boom, you'll get a response. But if you're really nice to her, maybe you might get something that you find attractive.
Being mean.
Yeah,
That is
I
how
agree about the
Hey,
wallet. I need to
and-
fucking get
and-
about
and-
this
and
wallet.
here's what's crazy.
I need to talk
We're
about
talking
the wallet.
what's wrong with women. Here's something that's wrong with women. Being awful, being wrong, being dishonorable gets you better results than being a good, kind, better man. That by itself is a whole problem. Why
Wick,
would-
I'm gonna lose
that's
it. I
that
need to
Okay,
go.
beyond
okay,
me.
counter. We gotta go to counter, but I gotta read this super chat. $5 from Kilo the Giant. Xerxes is essentially upset that women have standards and turnoffs. I wonder what his laundry list of
is
turnoffs.
that right? So
Hold on,
And
Xerxes,
I'm not done.
let me address
Give
this
me
because you said like
this.
10,000 things.
I'm not
and
done.
I need to
I'm not
get
done.
in.
From Ice Beans. Whick benefits from me being. I gotta read this. To go through the VOD, apart from counterpoints, how many long-term relationships with women have each of these had? Long-term equals 1+ year and living together for a while. And this is from Box Cutter Beans. But I also I want to go to counter. Then I want to get Tom in here because Tom. First
Hey,
of all,
I've been waiting.
Tom, I understand. Tom, well,
Be
that's
fair.
true. We're gonna skip Tom and go to Smith because Tom, why the fuck? You were supposed to be here an hour and a half ago. Like, the women were late, and I complained how late the women were beforehand, and here you are.
First of all, actually the first time I've ever been late to a panel.
Unmanly.
Like, I'm really sorry.
Awfully feminine of you.
He knows his worth. He's negging you. He's negging you so he can get your attention.
Okay, let's go to counterpoints. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have like 4 points. I'll try to make them as quick as I can. So you said that men have to risk embarrassment, take women out on the date in order to earn a woman. They have to engage in all these behaviors. And then the reason why I'm explaining, I'm not justifying, is because the presumption is that it can result in a partnership that can result in children, which is a huge risk and investment on behalf of the woman. So the date is an interview for the potential father of her children. So the Velcro wallet is not so much a problem if you got work boots, if you just came from work, you know, or you took a shower, but you got a nice truck, you're a working class dude or whatever. All of that added together is going to be a positive interview for the positive or for the potential future of her father of her children. However, if you're driving a 1992 Camry LE, it smells like weed, there's cigarette burns in the cloth seats, you live with your mom, and you bust out a Velcro wallet, and in the Velcro wallet, instead of having debit cards and credit cards, you got like 9 credit cards and a Pokemon card fucking stuffed in there, that shit's going to be fucking no-go, because she's doing an evaluative criteria as an interview for the potential father of her children. Then, what I think that men, that's like part one, I'll try to be quick, but the real thing that men need to learn is the social intelligence to back off. So oftentimes what gives people the ick is not whether or not you make an approach, it's whether or not somebody is giving you hints that it's time to back off and you're not accepting those hints. And then the interesting thing about backing off is that puts the ball in their court. So if they're even interested at all, then they can bounce it back to you. But if you keep trying to pass the ball to them and they're refusing to take it, that's a fucking problem. That's like the number one thing that young men need to learn, and it takes time and it takes practice and it takes cringe. Okay. Third point. Can I please?
Yeah.
So it's not Tinder, hypergamy, and the death of monogamy are real problems. And what I mean by that is social media has made women aware of quote unquote high value men all over the place. So if you're just like an average fucking dude and you're competing with fucking millionaires on Tinder or whatever, you're going to lose every single time. But those are young girls, not women. Women are not looking to get dicked down by a fucking 23-year-old millionaire asshole in a Ferrari who's going to fuck them and ditch them. They're looking for a partner. Then finally, you got to be mean, not nice. So here's the thing. I'm a creator. I'm not a large creator, but with DMs, you cannot waste my time or I will not respond. If you say hi, I'm not replying to that shit. I got other shit to do. Whereas if you're like, good afternoon, this is what I am, this is what I want from you, this is what I want to do, et cetera, et cetera. If it's of interest to me, then I will respond almost immediately. But that's because you're giving me something to bite into and you're speaking, you're being effective with my time. So what I would say is nice dudes who are just sending, hi, how is your day? You've sent, not only have you not said nothing, you have actually wasted their time, which they are going to view as an insult. Because even the ugliest woman has like 9 DMs asking her for fucking pussy. All right, end of rant.
So I want to pass it to Smeth, but before I have and once we get Smeth, I want to move on to the why women are women's problem, because I think it's a great segue. I would argue, and I would posit, my hypothesis here is that the reason that being nice to women is not as effective as being mean is due to their own self-loathing. They think you're lying to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. They think you are a liar. They take you as a liar. But when you treat them how they think they are, right? When you play to their the self-loathing, their secret fears about themselves, they think, he sees me. He's honest. This guy is going to tell me the truth. That's my hypothesis to why that works. That's my hypothesis.
And it's honestly vile, and that's the worst part.
But I want to go to Smeth. $2 from Dairy Queen, base rant from Counterpoints, and I want to go to Smeth. Smeth. Go ahead.
I agree, but I don't think it's totally from self-loathing. I just think that men are just so dishonest to women because they're so cowardly to piss off a woman or make her upset or say anything. Just like about the Velcro thing. Okay, she's like, so I think we have a different opinion here, but I don't think that you are entitled to how she feels about your wallet, but the thing is, so she can like be hate, like, oh, you have a Velcro wallet, I don't like you anymore. But what needs to happen is you need to be entitled to be pissed off that she doesn't like that. You don't have to, you shouldn't have to pretend that that's, oh, I understand, regarding, like, a lot of women are traumatized by men. Like, basically every woman that I've ever dated has been sexually assaulted, and that comes with like weird limitations in the bedroom. And I'm not going to be like, oh, you shouldn't be entitled to have that because you're putting that other guy on me, and that's not fair to me. Mm-hmm. Like, so she's entitled to having that feeling, which is unfair to me. But also, I'm entitled to be upset by it, but I'm not going to make her change it. That these two things can exist at the same time. My feelings and her feelings can exist at the same time, and that is the hard place to achieve for most people, and that is the difficult thing.
Okay, $2 from Fairy Queen to say base point from Whick, but I do want to transition. I want to start off with Tom here, because Tom's just been the eye candy for the past 6 minutes he's been here. Okay, and I want to get him to actually give his points. So again, at the beginning of the stream, to fill you in, since you weren't here, Tom, and yes, I'm going to keep bringing this up, we wanted to talk about why women are a problem for men, why women are a problem for women, and why women are a problem for society. We're on the I want to transition to why women are a problem for women. And so I guess I'll ask your take on that, Tom. Why are women failing other women? Go ahead.
Failing other women. I don't know about failing, because there are like, when I think of like what issues that women have with other women, I think of like the competition that they have with one another while also wanting to better women and better each other. They kind of fuck each other over and dick each other over. There's a lot of issues with women like talking behind each other's backs and being a lot more competitive with even their friends. I think guys tend to have like better like camaraderie with one another, where they're more loyal to one another. But yeah, it seems like women will dick each other over, and especially if you look at like the feminist movement, they always find the women who are the pick-me's, who aren't like,
I'm going to plug in my headphones
right
and it might make a beep.
Strong in the right way, or being a strong feminist in the right way, that they always feel like they're being fucked over by the pick-me's.
That was me, not you.
Okay, go ahead, Ollie.
Yeah, I think it's I think they're fucking each other over, but through like what I call toxic positivity. So not everything you do can be like, oh my God, amazing. Oh my God, that's great. And it's like girls never hear a negative thing, whether it be from if they hear it from another girl, they just don't take it. If they hear it from a guy, it blows their mind. So it's just the reinforcement, the toxic positivity that's going on with the girls, the constant compliments, the bigging up people when it's the undeserving. I think that ends up fucking them over. And then they have this huge inflated ego that comes with that. And you if you burst it.
Can you give us an example? Can you be more specific?
Okay, so like if a girl is overweight and she looks, her friends won't say anything. I know you're perfect the way you are. You should love yourself the way you are. But if a guy is overweight, as a friend, I'm going to look at my friend and be like, hey, you should probably lose some weight. You should do something about it.
They're lying to her is the thing. Like, they don't actually think that.
So
not just that, women hear the shit talking that other people do from other people, so they know that like the toxic positivity bubble that they're doing is still a fucking bubble. And there's some women who want to stay in the bubble, and there's some women who are like, oh, you're just gassing me up because you want something from me, and chances are it's sex. So that's where female, if you're always simping, you're always nice, you're always complimenting, all that kind of stuff, the only way that a female is going to trust you is if you're IRL friends, and if you're like that for years, where you're just the nice guy who is nice temperamentally. If she doesn't know you and you're freakishly nice, she's going to assume that you're playing her.
Any other thoughts on why women are women's problems? We have a lot less thoughts on this.
I don't think that toxic positivity thing is a universal thing. Like, I know plenty of women that don't do that. I know, actually, I've met maybe it's just selection bias. I've known selection bias, but a lot of women that are like me really don't like when women do that. It like freaks them out.
Would you say that you like the girls that like you are the general?
No,
like the average.
No, but it is selection bias. But I'm just saying, like
no.
not that's it. I mean, just it's healthy to acknowledge that there are like so like people like hearing this like oh all women are like, no dude, you can actually find women that aren't like that, and the fact that you want a woman that's not like that, like it's easier to find them because people like that are seeking each other out.
For the people who keep saying all women, it's like, come on, we can't keep like every time we say something, not all women. It's like we're just talking.
Well, in Smeth brought up something that's really important that I wish guys would look at as like a filter. So the way that you can like search for something and then you like click a few buttons and then it filters people out. If you don't want a fucking chick that's going to judge you for having a fucking $15 wallet or whatever, and you want her to not be a materialist piece of shit, then use that as a fucking metric. Go out on a first date, pay for fucking everything, have a job, all that kind of bullshit, and then bust out the Velcro wallet. And if that girl gets the fucking ick and she dips, that's fuck her. You weren't looking for that chick anyways. Whereas the working class chick who knows the value of $1, whose dad's a fucking working stiff, who sees that you got a job, who sees that you got a car, who sees you got this and you got that, she's going to be the person who's going to look at that and not even think twice about it. So it's a filter for you too.
$2 from Fryborn. How long ago was the Velcro wallet trauma? Go ahead.
So this is what's really interesting to me, right? And this is both to the topic and a little bit of the other topic, right? And that is we're still just accepting women for what they are instead of holding them to task to improve. And the Velcro wallet thing is perfect. And women do the same exact thing to each other. This is to Ollie's point, right? You're still giving advice to men to accept that there are women like that, not hold them to the task of moving beyond their ick, to move beyond that. No, that's wrong, and we should be able to say that's wrong. You shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't discount.
I disagree,
and I love that resistance. That is and women do the same thing to each other. There's this resistance to saying that a woman is wrong. Let's just ask the first question: can a woman ever be wrong about anything?
They're wrong all the fucking time, and you got to treat them like retarded children, like Smith said earlier.
Okay, so there you go. So it's possible for them to be wrong. Can we say that they're wrong?
No, you can't tell a retarded child he's wrong. What you have to do is you nod and you smile and you do what you're going to do anyway.
No,
Cersei, I want to address you. I want to address you directly, because I think that hundreds, maybe thousands of years, when we're all dead and gone, men and women will still be playing the same sexual game. And the reason why is because women aren't getting the ick because of the Velcro wallet. They're getting the ick because of what it represents to them, which is this person does not have enough means in order to take care of our potential children. And I view that, hold up, I'm not done. I view that biological filter as more important than your personal frustration with women being dumb.
So there's two problems with that. One, okay, the woman can just be wrong. If I pull out a Velcro wallet, if I have a platinum one with a 50,000 credit line limit credit card, she's just wrong. Her preconceived
and if she doesn't see that, that's a skill issue on her part.
Right?
That's a skill issue on her part.
Why can't we say, ladies,
it's not just that,
you're wrong?
Because
it's not just that though. It's not just about money,
80% of the time,
Velcro wallets are also like somebody who watches anime, somebody who's probably a little nerdy.
Oh,
your Velcro wallet probably has Spider-Man on it. Like, yes,
he likes like
Spider-Man.
Good God, you
not
mean
even
the character who just saves people's lives?
Oh my goodness!
I don't think.
Yes, somebody who watches cartoon characters fight. They're really manly. No, I don't think anybody thinks that.
Yo,
well, the thing
is, hold up.
Again, this is what
Cersei, I know where the woman is. I know where the woman is.
We're defending this. We're defending.
Cersei, I know where the woman you're looking for is, okay? She's at a Magic the Gathering / Warhammer 40K store. Hold on. She's there. The only problem is that there's 50-to-1 girls to guys in that store. So you're going to have to go every fucking weekend, and you're going to have to go to 3 different stores to find her, because the girl who's going to be down with the Velcro Spider-Man wallet is going to be a girl who goes to a card store.
Yeah, but he can probably outmatch.
This is beautiful, right? You're still trying to give me advice like I don't know this, and that's my point.
Yeah,
you guys will not accept. Not only do I already know this. That's just the first thing. You think you're giving me advice. The second thing is, it's not about the Velcro wallet. That's just the example. The concept of the ick, the concept. We could do something else. Let's just say he tripped on the sidewalk and then she got the ick.
Wait,
Yeah, but
we're
we're
saying
saying
you don't
we
need to
agree
explain it.
with
We
that,
understand
though.
it.
We're saying we
so you
agree
guys
with
keep
it.
on. Okay.
You're saying that
right?
you're saying it's because she's wrong. Like so, like she's actually
Yes.
like delusional. But
her actual preconceived notion
Yeah.
can quite literally just be wrong.
This is an important thing that I talk about, like in relationships, like all of my relationships, every type of relationship, where like so I don't want to be. I really like this happens to. I think women do this to men a lot, and so when you're doing that, you're doing the same thing that is something that women do to men a lot, where they will tell you that your feeling is wrong and that you shouldn't be having it. Like so honestly, she actually. It like hates people with Velcro wallets, and that's like how it's not a rational thing. Like it's dumb, but like you can't fight her out of it. You know, it is what it is.
Worse.
I'm gonna tie this back into the topic. So there are women who, if a girl comes back from a date and she explains the date and details the date, she goes, "Oh well, he had a Velcro wallet." Her friend who's single and might be jealous might be like, "Ugh, that's an ick. You shouldn't be with her." That's another way how women are
crabs in a bucket.
Women
Crabs
fuck
in a
other
bucket,
women
man.
over.
Men have done that with me when I talk about dates
You're not
too.
wrong.
Oh
We're not
my
talking about
God!
men.
I'm trying to talk
We're
about
not
women
talking
here.
about men.
I'm
We're
gonna
not
try to
talking
talk about
men.
women here.
It's not unique though. It's just a human thing.
It is.
We're not-
It doesn't
we're not
matter.
talking
That's what
about
we're trying to
men.
talk about.
We're not talking about
It is
men right now.
it is more common with women, and we are generalizing here in order to have the conversation. I do think also women are more common, like kind of what you were saying, is that women are more likely going to complain about their girlfriends, boyfriends, and they'll like find problems with them, and he's not good enough, he's a fuck boy, you know, he's this, he's that. Whereas guys don't do that. Like we'll barely even talk about our girlfriends with one another, and if we do,
And here's one thing that really messes women up when they do that, right? They only tell one side of the story. They only tell how this man is this bad thing. And this is how it really trips up a lot of women in friendships in general. I've experienced this, where a woman will only tell this is how he's so bad and he's so terrible. But from her point of view, there's more to him than whatever bad thing she complained about. The only issue is she never verbalized it. She never said, here's all the good things about him.
Keep in mind,
as a friend, hold on, wait, let me just wrap it up, right? As a friend, you say you need to leave that because we don't see all of the good and positive. We only see all of the complaints. And then the woman gets friction with other women and even maybe her male friends because she's like, you're telling me to leave this good guy? You're telling me to leave this man I love? You don't know him. And it's like, yeah, because you're only telling us the bad stuff. So that's one way they just mess their own relationships up with their friends because they're only telling half the story. So
just so everyone here knows, right, in case you don't, maybe you're not aware, anything you send to a woman when you're in the flirting and dating stage, they're going to show that to their friends. They're going to go over it with their friends, right? If you send them a dick pic, that's not going to be seen just by them. It's going to be seen by all their friends.
That's
too.
like the whole
If you
point
send them
of getting you to send it is to show
yeah,
it to their friends.
If you send them a flirtatious DM or message on Tinder or whatever, their friends will be going over that too. So just keep that in mind, gang, right? When you're sending messages to women, can't trust them.
I don't know about that, the dick pic thing, but one thing that stands out to me is that women share more with their friends than men do. And I think that when men do share, we have similar experiences, but we just don't share as much.
$5 from Zephyr Hash to say, I understand the problem now. This isn't a women's problem panel. This is a Xerxes therapy session. This is the only way you can get them to show up. And $5, right? If I may, $5 from Testicle Johnson to say, I have a dream. One day we live in a nation where men will not be judged by the Velcro on their wallet, but by the contents of their wallet.
We need you, Xerxes.
Now, isn't it beautiful, right? Isn't it beautiful how there's so much resistance, right, to just me saying maybe women are wrong. Maybe your preconceived notions of the Velcro wallet is wrong. Now it's, you're bitter. You're hurting. Your feelings are hurt. I mean, do I even need to show my wallet just to show you?
I think it's because
I literally don't have a Velcro wallet. I don't have a Velcro. It's never happened to me.
But I said it before, and I'm gonna say I said it before. Yeah, I said it before, and I'm going to say it
Mhm.
again. The
Mhm.
continuation of the species, like women being able to select their sexual partners in a pseudo
I
intelligent
love it,
way that eliminates
but it's not.
bad fathers is
Except it doesn't.
perfectly fine by me.
But it
Yeah,
doesn't.
you're right.
But here's the
Yeah,
problem,
you
though,
need to
counterpoint.
teach
It
them to do it
doesn't.
better.
In fact,
Yeah.
so and that's what I'm trying to do, and yet I'm hit with
Why
resistance.
don't
Because let
women
me
listen
tell
to
you
the
something
Xerxes? I
really
wondered.
interesting. No, they really should listen to me, right?
Yeah,
Because
but
here's
because
something
we're
very
saying that's
interesting,
a
right?
representative
So
of something that they're
so
looking for or
so
not
here's something
looking
really
for.
interesting. So here's something very interesting, right? So
Quickly, then we got to
there's
get
this
to
one
the.
meme of the random man in Atlanta. This whole Twitter woman, right? She's got thousands, millions of followers now because she told this story of how she is baby mama number 7 to, as she named, the random man in Atlanta. You can go look at her page right now. You see thousands of people listening to her talk about absolutely nothing. She's not an intelligent person. She's not a particularly talented person. All she really does is talk about nothing, right? And all she had to do was tell how she became baby mama number 7 to a man that should have never had the first kid, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? We're talking about women are trying to keep the human species going, the human race going, and they pick crap men who abandon their children and don't like them. But I'm wrong if I say maybe you should give the Velcro wallet a shake. I'm wrong. You can pick a man that will
I
abandon
didn't
his
say you were wrong.
children. You
Well,
can pick a man
Connor's
who will leave his family. But
Connor's
I'm
Okay.
wrong
Okay.
too
if I
high.
say
Okay.
forgive
You gotta
the
play the
Velcro
game.
wallet.
I know we're running up on time here, but I did want to get to the third topic really quick. This will be the briefest topic, unfortunately. You guys had a lot to say on the first one, and then we'll close it out with closings, and then we'll get to the call-ins because I see some caller-inners right now. And I just want to be clear: I'm going to prioritize women callers for this. I'm going to be sexist for this, and
Let's
if you are a
go.
woman and you want to call in, I will prioritize you. You will get to skip the line. So if you are a woman and you want to call in, call-ins are probably going to be in about 10, 20 minutes here, very quickly. $2 for Zephyr Hash, word count Xerxes, 48 billion, the rest 25. Fair enough. But I want to talk about how women are the problem with society.
Xerxes needs to
Um,
talk
We're
to
what do you
literally
think?
women
below
and
replacement
have
rate. I mean,
and
we're talking
he needs
about
to
continuing
fight
human species,
with a
women
woman.
picking good fathers.
Emotional
The West is
argument.
literally below replacement rate, right? That
Let them
means that
die.
they're not reproducing. We're not replacing our population. So again, we have this grand faith, right, that women are picking the best men, but they're not. Some of them aren't picking men at all. They're not
Women aren't
reproducing at
having
all.
enough babies. Okay, what else we got?
Well, they're eliminating
Okay.
society if that's the case, right? So they're a detriment.
No, wrong. The people who are self-selecting out of the gene pool, God bless them. Go fuck off with your stupid antinatalist ass. We don't need you. Then, what I was going to say is that we're dealing with a technological revolution that is kind of fucking us over, and we're not smart enough in order to deal with it. I would say that it's the Tinder and social media age where women and men have endless choices. Obviously, this is going to benefit women because they're the sexual selectors. So as a result, we basically have a society where young women are able to hook up with really attractive, rich, wealthy men, but they're not able to land them because the rich, attractive men are having their pick of the litter. And then basically, other men who are not as valuable, they basically have to wait for those women to want to settle down, which breeds resentment. We literally have men who are opting out of society because they're tired of waiting for women to settle for them. This is bad. I think that it comes with the annihilation of the church, the annihilation of religion, the annihilation of marriage. And so while I don't think that we need a Christian theocracy or a Muslim theocracy to reinstitute itself, I do think that we need to recognize that marriage and monogamy is a valuable institution, and we're fucking over our society right now.
So you want Sharia? Nice.
I do. I want white Sharia, and then I
Based.
want white Sharia for all the people who want it, and then I want all the fucking Funko Pop buying, fucking Xbox playing people who are 19 years old, but they already got their vas deferens snipped. I want those people to self-select out of society.
Okay. I want to go to Prime. So again, Prime, you've been quiet for a little bit, so I want to pass the ball to you for a moment to tell you. Oh,
Are you pissed off, Prime? Are you
I
like?
don't know. I can't tell.
He's tired.
I'm not pissed off at anything. I think the conversation is incredibly low IQ. So
Raise it for us. Raise it for us.
Oh,
Give us the highest IQ take you got on women. Go ahead.
Did you ask me?
We're so
for my
stupid.
response?
Go ahead.
Like, you want my response or not?
Yes, Prime. Go ahead.
Okay. So I just been listening, and it's like we want people to not. Well, we want women to not be shallow. Okay,
God forbid.
good, sure. And then fuck, what was the other thing? Um, basically asking for people to be more equitable. I mean,
The whole feminist
the
movement
things.
for equality. Oh, well.
Yeah, dude, we get it. We get it. We understand. We got you, buddy. We hear you. It's gonna be okay.
Okay.
It's gonna be okay. So, like, I don't know. I guess again, I had my expectations for this conversation were misaligned, and that happens, and that's okay, right? It's just that it seems like this would be more valuable to like focus in on gender, like issues surrounding gender and sex, right, and things that are unique. So when we say that, like, we want people, that's the other thing, right? We want some people, when telling stories, lionize themselves and denigrate others, right? But like, that's just like a human thing, and I guess we can complain that humans do that. But the purpose of the conversation is talking about how women are problematic, and there are plenty of ways that we can do it. There are plenty of ways to discuss that, but it's just like the most basic.
Give us a hierarchy, Prime. So my frustration with you is you're telling us all the reasons why this conversation sucks. Give us what we should be talking about in this subject. Just go with it, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, that's what I was just trying to do right there, right? Like, what are the specific differences between people's experiences on the sexual divide, right? Like, so us as men and them as women, right? Like, what are the differences here, and how do those differences cause us like pain,
I can give you one.
suffering,
I gave
what
one.
have you, right?
No,
The
I want
male
Prime to
upfront
give
investment.
more wallets.
Hold on, I want Prime to give us one. I want Prime,
A
like,
wallet.
that's a good
Yeah, tell us
question.
about the wallet.
Give us one. Give us one we should be
Sure.
talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Whick. Got it. Yeah. Like, literally, I've been interrupted. Let me do it. So, I think.
Go ahead and cook, man.
I think something that is unique is that like literally the erasure of like how sexual violence affects men. That's the thing that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that happens,
Happened
and
on the last
women
panel.
assist in this. So when women can perpetrate sexual violence against us, it's not really acknowledged, right? And two, when it does happen, you are seen as less than for reporting it. Like, that's a big issue, and women participate in this. That's something we can really talk about. Something we really dig into.
When,
But I'm sorry,
I think that's more to
I
do with
think
men, though.
that's what we're talking about, because I think a
actually
great
kind of
example of
ties
that,
in.
I think a great example of that, of the asymmetry of how this is treated, is when you look at women teachers who sexually assault high school young men, underage young men. The huge asymmetry of how that's seen, how that's looked at by society, and how that's treated is amazing. The men are high-fived, right, in this? They're like, oh, bro, you slept with a hot teacher? Hell yeah, high five, right? And no one really gives a shit about the 30-year-old woman who molested the 16, 14-year-old kid. However, if this roles were reversed and you had a 30-year-old gym teacher guy who molested a 14-year-old girl, that man, people would be making wood chipper memes.
But the difference is how men look at it.
That's an issue with men. It's not an issue with women. Women do that. They can find it horrid, but men are high-fiving the kid as he walks through. Men are the ones making the joke that he should have a billboard. Men are making, like, that's a men's issue. That's not a woman's issue.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about like societal issues, I would think of like, the divide with like what feminism is looking for, what they want, and a lot of it is just like the good things, the things that are going to be super beneficial. They don't want a lot of the harder things that men have to deal with. I think one thing that's pretty obvious if we're talking about dating is like that women still they make a lot more money now. They're like making a lot more on average, doing a lot better in school, in college, getting higher degrees. But then when they're looking for a man, the man still has to be a breadwinner. He still has to make more money. He still has to be the the guy who's killing it, and there's a lot less men doing that now. And so I would think that they would probably have to change their expectations. Also, on top of that, like, men are supposed to be more aggressive in how they approach women, and women aren't happy with how men are approaching them a lot of times. And so maybe women should just start approaching men more and start engaging with men more often and making the first move more often. So I think, like, with feminism, with what it is that they want, with their expectations, there's a lot of things that come with that they're not bringing with it, because those things suck. Those things are harder.
Okay, let's pass it to Smeth,
Okay.
and then we'll see.
I think that our expectations of women, like some people are sort of getting at with like feminism and stuff, we expect women to be everything, like the career, like the mother, like she's got to be beautiful, she's got to be like attractive, and any place where she fails in any of these ways, we're very critical of. And what that does, and so I'm getting to how that affects society, not just like when so what that does, it like, so not all women, generalization, blah blah blah, but the women are more likely to be mentally ill, and that means that our moms are more likely to be mentally ill, and that means we're all more likely to be mentally ill. So like that. So I think that just like making women like mentally ill is bad for society. Like, no, also like women that are like victims of like sexual assault, like then like their future partners like feel the repercussions of that too, and it just affects everybody.
How did this become a "what's the problem with men" panel?
Yeah,
that wasn't about what's wrong with
and then on top of that, like, women have
thank you.
anxiety. Hold on, women have anxiety, so they take pills for it. Therefore, they're fucking mentally ill. Listen, men have anxiety too. They just shut the fuck up and drink alcohol.
That's probably
what
true.
We all got. It's probably a reporting issue.
Maybe, but I feel that might be true. But I think it also might be true that we are actually making them more mentally. But I'm willing to move on that.
Well, my point is still the same. Yeah, sure, pressure women to be better and to do better things and to, grow and not have unrealistic expectations, but also treat women like retarded children. And by the way, like, I know that is like horribly sexist, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure my wife would say the same thing in the exact reverse, where she would be like, I treat you like a retarded child because things that are obvious to me are not obvious to you. And I feel like I have to explain the same thing 7 times. And between both of us treating each other like retarded children, we form almost an adult functional family unit.
What is it? What is this? A fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z? What do you mean?
Yeah, literally. It's like the 2 pandas with the fingers.
You take 2 halves of a whole retard and you put them together.
That model
and
works.
You have almost a full human being.
That model works, but I hate it. I hate it.
No. See, here's the thing. It's like I legitimately think that we are flawed as individuals, and part of life is finding people who complement your flaws and don't make them worse. So it's actually kind of like a beautiful ballet of finding people, because by the way, this is how relationships work. You find people who make your flaws worse, but then you love them anyways because there's like certain cool aspects of the relationship or whatever, but you just destroy each other. And then eventually you find somebody who complements your flaws and you work together as a unit. That's like a huge part of growing up.
Okay. Sure. So, gang, I want to respect everyone's time. And I want to get to call-ins as well. But I wanted to give first of all, if you like this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button if you're on Twitch or Kick. If you want to give me some subs like has, you can absolutely do that. If you want to super chat to ask some questions, you absolutely do that. But also, and I'm imploring you, if you want to call in, especially if you're a woman, hit that Discord link, right? I'll provide it in the chat. Okay, you click that button, you accept the rules, and you jump backstage, and I'll prioritize you. As a woman, you'll get to skip the line. But I want to give each of these people a chance to have brief, Xerxes, I'm looking at you, brief closing statements, and tell people where they can find you.
How about trans women?
And we're gonna start with we're gonna start with Ali here, and we're gonna move it along. And also, Smeth, I know your girlfriend wanted to call in. Now's the time that she can.
She's not
but Ali,
trans.
go ahead. I don't care, right? But Ali, go ahead.
I just want to say, all women are retarded babies. You all need to do better. Every man is perfect. We do no wrong. Get up to our status. Get up to our level. And I am still a feminist. Ali the Sigir on everywhere.
Okay, thanks for being here. Appreciate your take. And yeah, check them out, gang. Counterpoints, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Connor. I run a YouTube channel named Counterpoints. Type in Counterpoints 40K into your search bar. You'll find my Warhammer channel where I break down a whole bunch of lore. Check that out. Down in the description, you'll find my politics channels. When it comes to women, I think men and women, we do have transactional relationships. It is what it is. I think that when it comes to what women do is that when they're looking for a hookup, they don't have high standards. They literally just need somebody who's tall, who has broad shoulders, who look like he might be slinging a rod, but half the time he isn't. And then as a result, they basically pick trash. And men resent that because they think they're better than the men that they're picking. When it comes to relationships, women expect too much. You want us to take out the trash. You want us to kill the animals and the insects and the vermin and all that kind of stuff. You want us to take care of the kids when you're busy or tired. You want us to get you candy and flowers and dates and all that kind of stuff. And we're not perfect. So what I would say is that if women are expecting that they will find retarded children in their men, but they're willing to tolerate that. And then if men expect to find retarded, infantilized children in their women, then between the two of us, we can create a coherent whole and have a functional society.
I don't know how I feel about us wanting to be into retarded children. Can we reframe that? I don't know if I want to go with that. But thank you for being here, Counterpoints. Really appreciate you. Prime Kai.
Nice.
Thanks to my man Whick, who I always really appreciated for inviting me on. A great individual. And support my friend Whick. So I run a politics channel. We do panels. We have a lot of fun. We yell at each other. So usually on Mondays, always on Mondays, 8 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern. We have the Reverie, general topics conversation, a whole lot of fun. On Thursdays, we have All Black Everything, 8 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern. We got Black people talking about tangentially Black things and having a good time doing so. If anyone interests you, come hit me up. Oh, also on Sundays, I hang out with my friend Kobe, and we do Hanging Chads where we like really dig into one issue starting 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's a lot of fun, right? Hearing him, a liberal, me, a progressive, argue back and forth. So anyway, I really appreciate my fellow participants here. They're fantastic, excluding Tom, because what the fuck, dude. Xerxes, it was really nice meeting you. Smeth, apparently we're Discord friends. I have no idea why, but we are. I've
talked to you before.
There's nothing in our DMs.
Oh yeah, I just added you after a panel like a long time ago.
Oh, all right. Well, fair enough. Okay. Well, hello. Nice to meet you again. Allie, you're fantastic. Counterpoints, love of my life. But yeah, and hopefully Xerxes, maybe we can have you on All Black Everything. We'd love to do that.
Why am I never invited on All Black Everything? Like everyone's asking in chat,
you're
like
a honky.
Johnson, Mooncake, they're all saying that I should be on the All Black Everything, and I think if they say that I'm going to be on the All, I think that should give me the pass. But thank you for being here, Brian.
It's only I know why, right? Because you've been hesitant to say the N-word. So just do that right now.
Okay, I'm ready. So
No.
let's go. So thank you for being here, Prime.
Wait,
really
question for Prime real quick. Do you post your topics anywhere before you, or do you just like ask the people to join on your panel, then just have the panel?
Excuse me.
So like Whick will like tweet about a panel and then have people join on. Do you like ask?
I ask people to join a panel first and then
directly. All right, cool. Just wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, Smeth, go ahead.
I host a podcast about only Black issues with only Black people called Black Matters Live. Not really, but it's a good pun. I need to get it out there. I'm not going to use it. I have intimate, honest conversations. You can find me Real Smeth on YouTube or Twitter, everywhere.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. Tom, I don't know if I should give you an outro, but you get an outro anyway, quickly.
I'm really sorry. It's the first time I've ever been late to like a debate or a panel or anything. I had shit that I had to do today. I wanted to take a nap first and then just slept through my alarm. I'm really sorry. Won't happen again. Yeah, my name's Tom. Go by Tom Foolery Show on Kick and YouTube. I again apologize to everybody for being so late. My bad.
Hour and a half late. Well, anyway, Thirsty, go ahead.
Now, one thing that I find also very interesting is the call-in show, or not the call-in show, but the show where women complain about men did not have any of the ladies stop and give resistance to defend the honor and virtue of men. Yet, for us to discuss the problems of women, we had constant breaks where we had to defend their choices, defend why they do this. We had to give advice to men, advice to me on how I can be a better person, a better suitor for them. And I find it very interesting, right, that we cannot just get past level one. You know, I actually really like Prime. I love the resistance. I love the smoke. I don't take it personally. I love arguing and having these conversations because I like showing people all the different things that go on. And I think it is really interesting because we didn't even get to one thing I thought was important, and that is women do not love us. Women, a lot of the time, don't like us, generally. Again, when women had to complain about men, easy for them. But if I say that women should have a little bit more grace, friction, resistance, people don't really want to address, they don't really want to eat it, they don't really want to talk about it. All these people super chatted to make fun of me for something that never happened to me. It never happened to me, and yet they say it's a skill issue on you. If you have any problems with ladies, that's your fault, not them.
I'm all good with them giving me money to make fun of you, by the way.
And I'm glad. Just keep inviting me. You're gonna make a lot of money off me because people like.
But don't worry, I will. I'll know.
It's interesting to me that we can't actually have a discussion about the problems of women without having someone either tell men to get better and get good, or without defending women's choices and why they do the things that they do. I think that says everything about just how much, quite ironically, men really do love women versus how much the women, when they had the same opportunity to give friction to defend men, they chose not to.
Love and hate are the sides of the same coin.
Okay, gang.
I think that says everything.
Gang, I think it's time. Well, thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate you. I think it's time. I understand if you need to go, you need to go. But I want as many as you can stay for the caller inners as we can. We got quite the list. I see 2 women in chat. I think they're women. I'm going to bring them in first, one at a time, have them say their piece. And when they're done, we'll kick them out. So once again, if you want to call in, I put the link in chat. Put the link in YouTube. I put the ! Discord in my Twitch chat. Especially if you're a woman, call on in. Oh, who'd we lose? Oh, Prime decided not to play with us. Okay.
If it's an anime woman, it's more likely to be a man, actually.
Fair enough. Hello.
Oh, shit. Hi.
Hi, you're live. You got a camera for us?
Yes. Hello.
Hi. Okay. So what you got? What do you have for the panel?
So I wanted to kind of join. So my personal opinion, I have a lot of issues with women, specifically, actually. The women against women type of deal, where women are a problem for women, I think is a massive issue. Because women are absolutely awful to other women, and it makes other women act awful to everyone else, including men. And
can you give us an example? Can you be specific?
Let's say you're in a Call of Duty lobby, all right? You're playing Call of Duty as a woman. I'm speaking from experience, okay? You go in a lobby, there's another woman there. They're like, oh, this fucking ugly fucking bitch. Like, worse than what the men would do. And you're just like...
Really? Ooh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you try to talk to them, and they're like, oh, don't talk to me, you're a fucking bitch. And then it's like, okay.
Do they really?
Yes,
really
they fucking do.
Yeah.
Or if you go in a women's bathroom at times, women will look at you at times and just be weird. Or like, hey, let's say you need a tampon or whatever. They're like, no, get the fuck away from me. Figure it out yourself. Like, I've had issues like that. And Women are
Look,
awful
this
to
is
women.
your fault.
Women are
This
just
is a skill
mean.
issue.
Women
you-
are
you need to
calculated
be-
and
Listen,
mean.
And that's how
Listen,
that's why being
listen.
mean to them works.
No,
Listen, Biddy.
some
This is
women,
a skill
sure.
issue. This is your fault, right? Because you need to be a better person to them, and they'll treat you better. That's
No,
the
I
advice
think you
I've been
should
given.
shut up because your
not
opinions
that.
between
That's-
everybody
that's what
on
that
here and the panel and people in the comments want you to shut up.
No,
Anyway,
I think he has some
No,
points.
no.
He has some
No,
points,
bring-
except,
bring me the
he
except
did
for
at the
bring me the
beginning.
smoke.
He did at the
Bring me the
beginning, and then he
smoke. Bring me the
lost me,
smoke,
and so I
Icon.
stopped listening
It's
to him.
just that
No, bring me
he
the
feels
smoke.
entitled to control women's emotions, but his feelings
Oh, I
about
do.
women are completely justified.
it.
It's
I
just
feel
that,
You?
it's just that
That's
part.
creepy. That's really creepy.
I
Anyways,
feel
what
entitled
I'm
to
trying
control
shut up,
their
shut up,
emotions.
shut up,
No,
shut
no,
up,
no,
shut
no,
up,
no,
shut
no,
up.
no, no,
I'm
no, no. Actually,
speaking.
make an argument.
This is
No, make
my
an
turn
argument
right
against
now.
me.
I'm
I
speaking.
want you to give me an argument. Now, give
You've
me an
been
argument. Give me an
talking the
argument. How was
entire
I
time.
wrong?
Okay, you got hold on.
And
You
now
gotta
I'm
let
gonna
him.
let you
Stop.
talk.
Everyone stop. Everyone
Mhm.
stop. Everyone. That includes you. You have to let her give you the argument. So
Yes,
let's
go
hear
ahead.
it. Let's hear it.
So-
Go ahead.
Women are awful to other women. Another point I wanted to bring in as well is that so one thing that was brought up, I said it in chat, where it's like women have these things where it's behind, like, how do I explain it? Where they're like hyping other women up. And
Positive, yeah.
what they do, what they say is they're just jealous of you. No, bitch. What if they actually hate you? What if they actually fucking hate you?
Yeah.
Stop hyping up women like this. Be honest with your friends. Hold your friends accountable. And then what happens is when this stuff happens, these women will do this to other men as well and treat men the way that these women are treating them. And then it just cycles and then it becomes just bullshit. And it becomes really hard for women to get out of that cycle. There was another point with socially, at least like legally, I think women. Oh, I have a really big issue with that. Where women get away with so much stuff. There are so many more women that I see that are catcalling men, sending unsolicited pictures, committing like sexual assaults.
Oh
and
no!
stuff
Which
like
women
that.
are sending
we
unsolicited
can't-
pictures? Tell me so
Keep
who I
doing
can
that.
avoid them. Please.
Yeah.
But what
please.
I'm saying is like it's a
Don't
double
stop doing that.
standard. Women are sitting there and they'll be like, "Don't do that to me," but they're being extremely forceful on other men, and I find that a problem personally. Like I
Girls go
think that's wrong.
crazy. They just be handsy as shit, man.
True.
Yeah,
It scares
there's-
me.
Yeah, they
We
We
can
actually
be.
talked about
That's-
this
that's
on
a
my
good
stream
point.
a couple months ago, where we were talking about the fact that yes, women will just like while they're talking to you, put their hand on your chest, like start
Mhm.
rubbing your arms,
Grab
like,
your
they'll come up
ass.
and slap you in the butt. Yes, and
Yeah.
like they're at parties if they're drunk, they'll come grab your junk.
Mhm.
And women in my chat were like blown away. They're like, "What? No, guys don't like deal with this shit. Like that's not true." I'm like, "No. They definitely
Yeah.
do." Like
I find
every
it
guy in my
interesting that
chat
they
was like,
deny-
"Oh
You'll
yeah,
just
we
be
do."
you'll just
Drunk
be
girls.
standing in the corner. You'll just be standing in the corner at like a club or something, and women will come up to you and grind away at you.
Mhm.
No words, no asking, no
Well, you're
permission.
at a club,
nothing.
You
That's
don't
good.
like this? What? Like I
Well,
I-
it's
Yeah,
not
that-
even.
but
It's
But
like,
it's not about. But here's
the
the goofy
attitude.
part. It's not about not liking it, though, right? It's the fact that
Just how
they're
respect
still
acts.
doing it.
Oh
and
my
you
It's
might
the
not
double
like it.
standard for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might not.
There's this-
You might not like
there
them,
is a
you know, and
difference. There is a difference though, because men are much bigger, so we're a bit scarier. They're smaller, so it's like there's like this threat factor there.
And
to where
there's the
for women,
assumption that
it
we
is-
want it.
Yeah,
well, exactly.
I
right?
again, like I think that
Yeah.
there's an assumption for guys that the woman wants it as well, but it's a much bigger deal when guys do it to women because there is a threat factor there.
Okay.
Whereas
I have
guys
a
like we
question.
can pretty easily stop somebody from doing it.
quick question, right? And then I want to make sure Biddy gets her time because we do have a line. I want to get through it, but ask your question and we'll get.
Has anyone ever like a woman's asked them for sex, they said no, and it's gone? It's fucking just
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get called the F slur. You get called the F slur first thing. You get called a
Jeez,
eunuch.
You're
It's
gay.
rough. It's rough.
Mm,
Okay.
I want Betty to give me an argument as to
Okay. Well,
her
Biddy,
problems with
last
me and my commentary.
last
So
thought.
my
I
last
wanna-
thing
we gotta get
is
through it.
I think women need to hold other women accountable and we need to do better for other women. Men don't need to do that for us. Men don't need to try to make women better. Women need to try to make other women better. I'm
Which is what I said.
tired of there being a standard on men to be like, oh, we have to do this for the women and stuff. And I get there are times that maybe that's necessary or something that might be needed or that person might need in that moment, like relationship wise. But I personally think that other women need to hold other women accountable and make sure that we are being our authentic self and being better women, including myself.
Biddy, thank you for calling in. I
Thank you.
appreciate you. And maybe we'll have you on the
I
panel
don't get the
sometime.
smoke.
Nice meeting
It was
you.
a pleasure.
We have look.
No, see,
have you
I
seen my
want the
backstage?
smoke,
We got like
man.
20 people. I want to get to as
Bring me
many
the
people as
smoke.
we can. So we got to give it.
Yeah.
We got to be quick. And
Apparently, she stopped
I
listening
didn't
at
see
X
who.
reason.
Like I'm not going.
Literally said what I said. We should hold them to task to be better people. But I'm wrong somehow. She can have the same opinion, but I'm wrong. I just
Yeah, I'm not sure the order, so I'm just
Brittany.
pulling people as I see them. Like I said, I'm prioritizing women.
Brittany.
Because this is the thing. So hello, welcome.
Hello, everyone. How's
You got a
everyone
camera
doing?
for us, or
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm literally in my after stream look. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
what you got for us?
Okay, so I just wanted to say a few things. One, I love how different experiences just map onto different people. Like, I've had great experiences in female bathrooms, but not everybody has the same life. I just wanted to share from a more individualistic perspective, like in my marriage, gender plays like little to no role. Obviously, we know we're men and women, but when it comes to who does what, who earns what, it doesn't matter. We're putting in both 100% to make the team succeed. So for us, like in our marriage, even though like we're obviously men or women, it doesn't seem to matter when it comes down to being successful. So I think it's more about efficiency and falling in love. I feel like this whole panel, like, is anyone in love? Like, I'm in love. I found the greatest person on the planet, and he wants to spend his life with me. So
No
in
offense,
some
but you're
ways,
also a woman. That's
I'm
kind of
sorry?
easy to do. You're also a young lady. That's very easy to do. To find a man that wants to love you. It's like
How old
breathing
do you
air.
think I am?
It doesn't matter how old you are. You probably 34. It's still easy.
What you're doing right now
You
is the
wo- you-
thing that
you can
pisses
wake
people
up
off.
on
You're
Tuesday.
dismissing women's emotion. She's just expressing an emotion, and you're saying that she's
I am, and I'm gonna tell you why, right? Because you came in, and to be fair, you said this is my individual experience, and that's fine, and that's great. The problem is, if we're talking about general, if we're talking about multiple people, we're talking about everybody getting that same result, we can't just say, well, this worked out for me, I did well, here we go. We need to find a way to make it so that multiple people can get the same results and some reasonable capacity. So you found a guy who loved you and gender doesn't play a role. Fantastic. Here's the problem, right? I'm 6'1". Women look at me, they want me to protect them. Too bad, so sad. And everyone will tell me I have to eat that. I say, okay, I'll eat that. So then I say, all right then, why can't a woman be kind and nice to me? Smeth says I'm entitled to women's emotions. Am I? The woman can be entitled to expect me to protect her. I'm just supposed to eat that. And I literally say I'm fine with eating that. Why is there resistance for me then saying, well, why can't she treat me well? Why can't she be nice to me? So the problem is, Brittany, it's like you found, and this is great. I'm not even against you for this. This is your life. And honestly, if more people wanted an efficient way to be in relationships, parent without gender, by all means, that's their prerogative. The issue is gender, social expectations for men, we still have to adhere to it. We can't just say, I'm not going to make more money than women. Our pool of ladies dramatically shrinks.
Well, I think that's the issue.
We
right?
have made it extremely difficult on that one point alone.
We gotta let Brittany respond. So Brittany, go ahead.
I think the issue is like, why do you like? For me, I think like we're evolved animals on a planet, so I assume that if you find your soulmate or someone you're compatible with to that extent, to call it like a very special relationship, it's rare. And if you're lucky, you get to do that. Most people settle into what they find is like a good enough relationship, which is fine. But I'm saying that no one's owed a relationship, and I knew that my whole life. And I think I was raised that way by my parents, who said it was better to be single than to marry the wrong person. So I think it's values, right? Like, why are you dating people? So my husband doesn't adhere to gender expectations in the same way, right? Like, I'm the breadwinner in our relationship. It makes sense for us. It works. His mother's the same. She's the breadwinner. Like, so in my family, we're Assyrian, like, a lot of the women work. So I guess it's like whatever works for your family, whatever works for you. But like cultures around the world are different. Not everybody's the same. So these gender roles, they're societal. So like you need to move societies, hang out with different people, or be an anomaly, be the exception, change the standard for yourself, right? That's how I look at it.
Just change society. It's so easy, Xerxes.
Well, not change society, but change societies. Not change societies, like change society. Like
She's
move.
saying make your own. Find your own group, find your own tribe, and then you'll meet the people that agree with you.
People are constantly telling me that I don't fit the like masculine ideal and stuff. And I don't even understand why. Brittany just told me earlier, but like I don't have any trouble finding women though.
That's beautiful, Smith. Okay, so again, individual. It's great that you guys don't have troubles. I can't argue with that. The problem is there's groups of men that do. The problem is there are women right now who have 3 different baby dads, okay? Right now. There's children growing up without their fathers. Right now. It's not about you did well. I'm glad. But how do we get other people to do well?
We
How
don't.
do we get
It's not our
other people to
responsibility.
that
They have to
same
figure it
level?
out. They
Okay,
have to decide to
and
be
I love
healthy
it,
enough to change their life.
beautiful. And that's beautiful. We just say, oh, that's just their responsibility, so we just
It
can't
is.
do anything.
Well, it's
Whatever.
their body, their life, their finances. Like, if they want a healthy life, they need to do the work to be healthy.
Yeah, but there's
Okay, so
social
we
influences.
just don't care.
There are
We don't
things
give-
that are
so-
pushing people in different directions.
Well, I wanna
Like,
give
we
it to
would want
Tom.
to try
Oh,
to
go
fix
ahead.
those things.
Yeah, for sure. But again, so are you guys saying like I'm so special and I'm such an exception that I beat all of society to have my dream life, or did I radically
You're
accept?
also a woman. No offense,
No,
but it's like
okay.
you
What about
found
my
a man.
husband?
You're
What
a
about my
woman.
husband? He also found a woman
He-
doing what
he
he
found
wanted.
you.
He found the
Yeah,
well,
it's one person though. Like
no,
lots of
but
women.
what about my parents? What about all my cousins? What about my siblings? What about
I'm
like
not-
everyone
well,
in my
it's not that
bubble?
people can't find each other, but a lot of the dynamics that you're talking about where you're taking it out. Like I am a masculine dude. I like feminine women. Like we are going to be radically different. We're
Sure.
going to have expectations of each other. We're going to have roles that we both want to fit into and that we both want to fulfill. So you're taking a lot of the things that is normal for the standard person.
Yep. I
taking
know,
that
but my
out and
parents
then
are
saying,
traditional
"Just do
religious
this."
people. My parents have traditional gender role. My siblings do
I'm
in
not
some
saying
ways.
people can't find each
What is-
other. I
Right. Like I just want to specify, like if
Technically, I'm
you're
not either.
single, there has to be a reason. Either you're not finding your person and that's better to be single, or you're not a viable candidate in the dating market, but like who cares? Like if you think it's so important to be
Well,
partnered,
those people care.
well, those people
Society
care
cares.
because no, society doesn't care. In general, I
Society
think
should care.
if you believe in
actually.
evolution and biology, then the way the world has gone is evolution and biology.
Mhm,
So,
yeah.
Like
just
Evolution isn't a value
if I may
judgment. It's what
interject.
works and what doesn't work.
Hold on.
It's
well,
not
this is
about. It's not
working though.
moral.
This is what humans have created.
Except
this
it
is what
doesn't
we
work
produce.
because
Hold on.
we're literally not
what is working?
reproducing our
Why do-
society currently. We're literally
Production.
below replacement rate. It's not.
Well,
it's
I
not
don't-
working.
I think we're evolving
Women
past
are
that point
upset.
to need to reproduce.
Women
what
are
if we're
complaining about the men they
what if we're
choose.
going to evolve to
That's
have
the
less
point, we
children,
need to
right?
reproduce.
Maybe that's what's happening in societies with more education is we're having less babies. So maybe we're supposed to evolve to have less babies.
Okay, I wanna interject real quick when we say that society doesn't care if you're single or not. I know from experience that's not true. In the military, for example, I'll give you an example from the military. If you are married in the military, you get so many benefits that single people just don't get. If you
That's
are
true.
single in the military and they need someone to work on the weekends, guess who they're choosing? Not the married people with kids. They're choosing you. Like if you get financial benefits for being married, so much so, in fact, that a lot of people will have military spouses in basic or other, not basic, but I forget the term.
When they're
for it,
like when they got their
when
contract,
they're
I
in
understand.
training and things like that, when they're in training for their job and things like that, they'll just get married just so that they can get those benefits. Like the amount of benefits just alone in the military that you get for being part of a family are immense. This also plays out on a larger society as a whole. You get so many tax benefits. Married people get preferential treatment, and we can say that we can argue that that might be for a very good reason. I might agree with you, but married people get so much preferential treatment that single people just don't. I think that, again, society, at least Western society, values that and will support that much, much more than being single. We look at single men. Single men are like the worst of the worst. They're treated as incels. They're called incels in a lot of cases, right? They're just treated like trash and disposable.
Look at how they treat me.
It's just like
Well,
how
and if
people,
you're a man
I'm not
or
even wrong.
people will
if you're a
probably
man
treat you
or a
more-
woman, by a
People-
certain
oh,
age,
sorry.
they'll treat you like a red flag. Once you get to like 28,
Mhm.
29, 30, if you're still not married or in like a long-term committed relationship, you are just now a red flag. So
Yeah.
like there's people and your parents will look at you like, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you done this shit yet? Like tons of other people will look at you like, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you done this shit yet? So yeah, like people definitely look at you differently if you're not married. by a
Yeah,
certain
like
point.
it's like
Also
streamers.
depends, though.
Streamers, like I'm thinking, like I think especially men. I think it's true. Like streamers that like in this sphere, they talk about their opinions and shit. Like most of them have girlfriends, but like you can just imagine like your perception, like half the shit like a lot of men say, like if they said it and they also were single, and it's like that you sound way worse now, bro. It's like I think that's
sometimes
wanna-
you need a woman.
Hold on.
If I can make this last point, can I?
Just very quickly, because I want to give
quickly.
Brittany a chance to have her say, because we do have a
Sometimes-
line, and I want to make sure we get to as many
That's
people
true.
as possible.
So I'm really sorry. So I'm going to make this very quick. Sometimes you literally need a partner to validate your opinions, to validate your worth as a man. That's very important. In fact, very many people will discount what I say by simply, well, where's your woman? You just need a woman present just to verify, just to exist as a male having an opinion. It's something I've experienced for years of my life. So.
What is happening, I think, in people's minds is, and I think Brittany was sort of saying this, like, or maybe I'm just like getting tired, but forget I said that, but I like so I don't know if you're single or not, but like so if you're single, then when people hear you say like have these very strong opinions about women, then what they're doing is they're like, so what is why he's single? Like they're trying to figure out like what is it that's making you single, and so they're trying to fit everything you say into a puzzle piece and see if that fits into their imagination of why you're single.
Okay. I want to give Brittany, just real quick, I want to give Brittany a last say. Anything else you wanted to bring up before we, again, cycle? So, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's really important to know why we need to be partnered. And if it's just for society, I think that's really unhealthy. I think I'm not convinced that society knows what's good for us more than we do. And I think I believe in your ability to have agency over your consciousness and to say, like, I know why I'm single. I know I haven't dated. I know why I've been a virgin till I'm 50. I know why this. And honestly, I know that I'm a good person and I'm well-rounded. And until that person comes into my life, I'm not going to let society like denigrate me or tell me I'm degenerate because this is my journey, right? Like I believe in your agency to have a unique story. And I think if you are in a society that you don't feel comfortable in, obviously, as an immigrant background, I would tell you to move. But if that's not plausible, I would tell you to like radically accept that like this is a part of making a balance between you and the world, right? But I just don't think you need to have a partner to be validated. I think that's just so antiquated. But I mean, if you want to live thinking that's objective, you can, but it's just not. It's a construct. And so like to break that construct, it takes a lot of self-awareness, right? Like I just think you're better than that.
Fair enough. Anything else before we let Brittany go?
No, that's it.
I find it okay. I mean, I find it interesting that that's a construct that we have to break. But if I say the construct of women appreciating men, again, people want to argue with me.
Just to Brittany's point, she was saying like find your own people and like it's up to society. You don't have to do things that society wants. If you grow up in a community and you care about the people in your community, so like I'm Arab. So in the Arab community, when you're growing up as a 31-year-old single guy, it's like you get looked at as almost not an adult. And the same thing goes for like women too. And even when you're in a relationship, until you have a kid, it's almost like you have to achieve these goals before you get looked at as. So I may be looked at as a person right now, but I'm not fully an adult because I don't have the responsibilities, the tasks, the cares that I would have to have if I had in a marriage. And then the same, I would gain more respect when I have a kid, because then I have all these responsibilities that I'm supposed to be taking care of. And if I am taking care of them, I earn and deserve that respect. So that's a little bit of the issue. Like Brittany's clearly a hyper independent person, which is amazing. And as everyone should strive to be, but just most people work within the realms of their community or society. They are trying to fit in.
Okay. Temperance, please. What you got?
All right. So I got two questions. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yes, you're fine.
Indeed.
Okay. So first one is, and this is for the panel in general, after listening to this for 2 hours and hearing what y'all are saying, are any of you, based on what you said, really surprised that women aren't interested in dating you?
See, this is exactly what I just said.
Is that not what that's what I'm saying. That's beautiful. Why did you feel the need to ask that question? Why did you even feel the need to ask us this?
The person I was dating before the person I'm dating now literally was attracted to me because I said incel shit.
Okay.
So like you can so there's no like there is I don't even understand how incels are single. There's a lot of women that actually are into guys that say the shit that they say.
They're afraid of. So Destiny's gone over this. The reason why men don't get laid is because they don't try, right? So the fact that like I feel like incels almost by choice. If you're just in your house, in your room, on your computer, and you never go outside and you never say hi to somebody, Yeah, what
And
like no a girl isn't gonna walk into your room and be
hold
like, I want to date you. You have to go out and put yourself out there.
Why? Okay, why do we pretend, right, that like incels are just these just maladapted humans that aren't average, that just aren't okay human beings? Why do we pretend that incels have to be these vile people who are just on their keyboards in their room? They don't have jobs. They don't go to work. Look,
They
listen,
define themselves.
Let me be clear, okay? Let me be clear so there's no ambiguity, right? If that is you as a person, then you should not have a relationship. Why? Because the purpose of a relationship is to get married and to have a family. You can't have a family. You can't be a good father to the children that you have. Fair enough. That's good. But why then can we not talk about the everyman, the average man? Why can we not talk about the sexless guy in his marriage with a wife that just settled for him? Why can't we talk about this, right? Let's just go back to you, Temperance. Again, you come into here with a general panel. You say, why, are you really surprised why women don't want you? What are you talking about, woman? My friend, there is a woman, again, right now. She is baby mama number 7. That means she saw a dude, had 7 children by 6, different women. She met him, still decided to have sex with him, have a relationship, get impregnated, give birth to his child as number 7, and then is surprised when he abandons her. So you want to talk about us on this panel here having an issue with women? Why does that man get to have 7 lineages? You answer me that question. Go ahead.
Because some women are stupid.
Well,
Okay,
it's not.
thank
You
you can say that.
hold on,
You can say that. So you can say that. But if it came from me,
the bigger issue though is that, like, what, as we talked about, women, men's expectations of women have to have changed. Like, we had to change our expectations of women, what we want from them, what we expect. We've had to change our preferences pretty drastically over the last 20 years. Women haven't changed their preferences, and so that's like a huge problem. Is like, you're looking at these guys saying like, hey, just fit the normal mold that women have always wanted, while we're sitting here thinking like, okay, we have to keep changing what it is that we want, what it is that we expect, what it is that we're attracted to. We have to change all of this stuff consistently for women, but they're not.
I actually want to address that, if that's okay.
Please, go ahead.
I actually want to address that. Okay, so I am going to acknowledge that there is a, I guess, a cognitive dissonance on both sides, where both men and women are both trying to find the stereotype that dates back to the 1940s, the 1960s, that wasn't even really commonplace back then, and are trying to find that now in a time when it's completely and utterly unfeasible in the general cases. And I find that on both sides. You have women who are looking for these really weird expectations of men, and men who have these really weird expectations of women, in a society that's just not built for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay,
yeah,
you said
but
you had
my
a-
point is, when you're saying it's no surprise that women aren't attracted to the guys on here, I'm saying I would think that they would start to change their preferences, because this is becoming more and more of the norm. Whereas what's more and more of the norm, this is actually like very much pushed on men and saying like, hey, oh, you just don't want a strong, independent woman. Oh, you just don't want a woman who has her own mind. You don't want a woman who has her own job and who can take care of herself. And this is you just have a big ego, and you're too self-involved and blah, blah, blah. And so we have to continuously change our preferences and move what it is that we want, what it is we're attracted to. But then you look at these guys and you're like, well, is it no wonder nobody's attracted to you? Well, why aren't they changing their preferences? Why aren't they changing what it is that they expect?
which is an excellent question. But
I also think it's an assumption to think
that
that we think that women aren't attracted to us. I don't think
and
that's.
then there's that. I mean,
All right,
thank
here.
you.
No,
Number one. But number
this
two,
is where I hate these conversations. Is there is a difference between finding someone attractive and being willing to sleep with them for a night, and actually being willing to get into a long-term committed relationship with them that is going to last years. Those are two very different fundamental things.
And I would argue that the gatekeeper for the sex would be the girl. So if a girl just finds me attractive to sleep with me, cool. But then I would argue that I would have to find them attractive enough to keep in a relationship.
So guys don't assault and force women to have sex with them.
What the fuck was
guys,
that?
no, hold on.
I may have
saying.
misunderstood what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying
Yes,
the attraction value. So women, like you're saying, like a woman finding you attractive just to sleep with you for the night isn't the same thing as being able to keep a relationship, which is fair. But the argument would be that like they would have to attract me enough to keep them in the relationship. So it's not that I can't find a woman to keep in a relationship. It's that like or not that they don't want me, it's that I don't want them in the relationship.
Okay, I can, because I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're kind of reversing it a little bit, where it's, yeah, a guy can go out and he can find a woman that he's willing to sleep with for the night, but then he wakes up the next morning and he's like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, well, you were saying we can't attract women. That's what you were saying? That women aren't attracted to us?
No, I was saying that, yes, a woman may find you all and may sleep with you all for a night. And some women may genuinely want to date you. I know Smeth is in a relationship. And some, I don't know about the rest of y'all. But yes, you may very well be able to find a woman who is willing to date you, because women are not a monolith any more than guys are a monolith. But from like what I have heard generally on this panel, like,
which is what
3 to 4 of you are like just walking red flags.
No,
Hold on, Seriously, stop. I want you to be clear. Name. I want you, if you would, be specific. Brief but specific. Which one of us are red flags?
Don't
and why?
live your life for the validation of women, Wick. Have we not learned anything?
Smeth
I want this for the content.
Smeth is right.
I know he's doing it for the content.
Hold on. Let Temperance answer the question. Temperance, which ones are red flags? Name them and tell us why.
Okay, so the first one obviously is, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, is Zuri.
Obviously me. Go ahead. Give me the smoke. Go on. Every word that is spewed out of your mouth, like, it's been calm, it's been measured, but there's also been this underlining hostility that would make me run for the nearest door.
Based, okay.
Like, tone police.
Okay, that was quick.
That's a nice tone police. It's not an argument.
I don't want to get into discussion about everyone. I just want her to name them. Okay, so that's Zuri. Who else? What do we got?
So, well, Smeth is taken, so I wouldn't go near him basically just on that alone. But
a red flag because taken.
Particularly like his personality.
And he's also a bad personality. Okay. 2 red flags for Smeth. What else you got?
Honestly, Tom and the other, I'm sorry, dude, I don't know your name.
Ollie.
I really haven't made a decision about them yet.
Okay, so you are yellow flags.
You were just flags.
Okay, Temperance. Thanks for coming on.
No, I want the smoke. I want to know. My tone is the problem. Am I wrong?
Women are allowed to not like how you fucking talk to them.
That's okay. Thank you, Smith. So anyway, give me an argument. Am I wrong about the things that I've said?
But it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It doesn't make someone love you.
No, it does. No, it does. Am I wrong about the things I said? Go ahead, Timber.
You're wrong in that you're generalizing it about all women. Because you're basically that all women want money. All women want guys to have a house. And yes, you did.
I didn't say all.
Yes,
First of all, what I said was one thing that we need to do is understand we're speaking informally. We all have the understanding. This is not every single woman ever. We all understand this. I don't understand why you don't get it, but I literally said that during the discussion. So let's go again, right? I don't think that every woman is the same in every regard. However, there is a general trend that very many men, very many women as well are on the other side of one, on the other side of the other, who have high expectations, and men who come smack against those high expectations. There's also women that have low expectations and have fathers who are terrible people to their children. So we also have that too. So I clearly have nuance. I clearly understand there's a difference. So what I'm trying to understand is, how am I wrong if that's not even true that I generalized on women? Continue.
So will you acknowledge that men do the exact same thing? That they will have they will have low expectations for women they are willing to sleep with, but they have high expectations for women they are willing to get into a relationship with. You acknowledge that?
Yeah.
Okay,
boom.
so
now you got to date him. He was right. Okay. So,
no, I didn't say no. She doesn't have to date me at all. I don't know her.
Okay. Thank you for calling in, Temperance. Always appreciate you, and we'll see you later. Okay.
Can I make a point real quick? I think that the incels that aren't able to find a partner, I think that their issue that they're self-limiting is that the incels are like usually attracted to the most obnoxious stereotype of like a bar girl, like, with the long nails and they want the girl who's not going to be into them at all. And if they just change with their ideal of what a relationship material looks like, there's a lot of healthy partners for them.
Okay. And I just want to reiterate, gang, if you want to call in You got to hit that exclamation point Discord. You got to click the link. You got to accept the rules and then jump backstage. If you're a woman, we'll prioritize you. We're out of women for the moment, so we've changed to the most womanly man backstage that I could find, Kilo. And I wanted to toss it to Kilo and have his say. Go ahead.
I have been told I have some feminine energy, so that's fair. But Xerxes, I can be more specific with you. So let's be specific about. Well, okay. Actually, before I get to that, if the panel is about what's the problem with women, and you point to something that you perceive as being a problem with women, and then someone says, "Well, isn't that the case for men also?" and you're like, "Yeah," then you're just talking about people. You're not talking about women. The fuck is the point of
Except
what
we
you
are
said?
because the entire purpose of this panel was not to discuss people, it was to discuss women. So if I specifically talk about what women are doing, it doesn't matter if men also do it if the conversation is about women. What about
I
that do you not
understand,
understand?
but you understand that linguistically, when you say there is a problem with women, there's X problem with women. It
Okay.
sounds like you're saying that problem is exclusive to women,
Kilo,
and you can't
may I
also
ask-
point
What
to men.
difference does it make?
Just real
Yeah.
quick. No, because
Well-
I think you have a point, Xerxes, here. I'm sorry, I'm going to get flamed for this, maybe. But Kilo, yes, men do it too. But when men do it, and this is asymmetry, when men do it, they are rightly decried and derided societally for that, right? They are absolutely held to account. There is a social cost that is
They're
not
doing it right now.
present when women do the same thing, at least not to the same degree. So what the argument is that Xerxes is making is that yes, men and women engage both in toxic behaviors, but men who engage in toxic behaviors are held accountable in a way that women are
Yeah.
celebrated in some cases for.
His
And that is the
perception
argument.
is his perception is that men don't have the same like leeway to get away with these types of things that women do.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't really
that's
know
only part of it. That's
What's the
that's
other-
only part of it, right?
what's the other
Like
part
one
of it.
thing that's
So let's
pretty
talk about
important
something
is
specific. Would
this.
that help?
There isn't
Okay.
going to be anything specific that is like people are people. Men and women are like as different as they are. They still have the same actions and acts. We all still do the same general things. So it becomes a problem when we're having like a discussion about one thing. And it's like, well, men do this too. Well, we could just say humans do this and just not have the discussion at all.
Yes, but that's
Yeah,
kind
and-
of what
yeah.
renders these points like sort of meaningless. Is like
Wrong.
I
No,
generally
that's
come
you
in agreeing
coping.
with
It's to be
everything
a
you
fun
just said. I feel like most
conversation,
people-
man.
It's well, so it's
So
not just
Come
that
with something
like, oh,
substantive. Smeth wanted to
to
talk about the ways we socialize women to act certain ways or whatever. That might be a problem with the way that we're treating them, which
It's
causes
a problem
these
with men,
behaviors.
not
That's
with
a
women.
more
It's
relevant.
a problem with men. We're doing this to them, treating them like this. Therefore, they act like that. That's a
No,
men's
it's not just
issue.
men. No, it's men and it's the parents.
I think
parents
Tom-
are not. We're not all raised by gay couples. We're raised by men and women.
That's a parent
Tom-
issue. That's a raising issue. It's not a
That's
problem
fine.
with,
social
That's
issue.
fine.
with the
But
social
that-
inclination that led to that.
That is a
Yes.
social issue. Parenting is a
I know.
social issue.
Yeah, I know
Also,
that.
Tom,
I'm not
Tom
just going to
zeroed in on
scapegoat
something
women and
earlier in
make that be
panel.
the end of it. No, if it's just them, they suck. No, they suck for a reason. The thing that you're
Yes.
complaining about
So
doesn't
you
exist.
give them permission to suck. They suck for this reason. Therefore, they're not the problem. This reason is the
If
problem.
you're to
When
say
you do
something-
that, you're doing it's called scapegoating, and when you make the end of the train like end there, you're building yourself an Auschwitz. You know, like that's what you're.
supposed to be like deep philosophical into this. I thought we were coming on to just go and have fun versus being so nuanced and so like specific.
Yeah,
I
it's
think you should have something
it's the problem
substantive.
with women, right? It's the problem with women. It's not the where women start the problem. It's the
Yeah.
problem with women. If society is causing women to be this way, women are it's still a problem with women.
But then the
And-
topic
and
becomes what's wrong with society and how can we improve society so that women don't
Yeah,
act
sure.
like this.
Sure.
So that's
Right.
it stops
$2
being.
But-
$2
but
from Cryborn to
Kilo-
say, Wick, please tell Testy he is wrong. You're wrong. Testy, you're
Oh
wrong.
yeah, but Kilo is right. Like if you say like this is a problem with women, you would expect it either to be a problem specifically with women or a problem that is like disproportionately a problem with women. And so yeah, if you point at women and then somebody says, but men do that too at the same exact rate, it doesn't make sense to be like, okay, well we're just talking about women today. It's like, well, it's just not. It's not specific to them. I
Well,
thought like
to be
yeah,
fair,
we
I
had
don't-
those-
Here's
I
the
don't-
irony.
This
You
became
can
this
let me
this
know.
panel became a okay, how nuanced can we get about the statement that we made? And to Wick's point, we had this panel because he had the why men suck panel and they just went in.
Say it again.
I think
They
they do.
did.
I think
We couldn't even make jokes. We couldn't even make
Wait,
jokes.
Ali.
We couldn't come in to defend because men are virtuous and honorable, and we want to defend the women that we're talking about. We kept giving up excuses to things. It's like, we're just trying to have memes and
No
conversation.
one expects that out of you. If you have a problem with anything,
That's such a
you can say
cop
it.
out to just say, well, it's
Well,
just
well,
memes at the end of the argument. It's just.
No,
That's what it was supposed to be.
Xerxes, I think no. It's not just. I want to be clear what my intent is here. women are. They have problems. They're not just memes. They have issues, and we need to be able to discuss them. But yes, it's nice to have fun too. But you are correct. Ali is correct. I'll pass it to you, Xerxes, in a minute. But Ali is correct. When we did have the women on, yeah, no one was running defense. They just went in, right? There was no.
They were doing a lot of the same things.
There was no qualifier. There was no defense. There was no empathy in society.
That's not true. That is not true. There were points that Lav was saying shit like men should just put up with like abuse and not be such crybabies about it. Men don't need therapy because they're different, and the other women were arguing with her on this shit the entire time. So like I don't agree.
They're all changing.
No.
I also think a lot of those things
it was not the same level of defense. It wasn't. It just
let's bring Kilo. Let's bring Kilo back in here.
Just on the women's panel, I think that was a lot of the same thing, where it was like behaviors that were describing that men exhibit also, or sorry, that women exhibit also, and like that. I think largely human beings are mostly the same, and we can see a lot of the same patterns across sexes or what have you. The differences are going to lie in the socialization, which is why I thought that was the most interesting aspect of the conversation that we kind of shied away from. Instead, we wanted to talk about why women are mean to Xerxes and like shit like that. Xerxes, to be specific. Right? Yeah, no. If you want the smoke, I'm being earnest. I'm not just coming here to give you smoke, but the example you brought up was like, if women feel entitled to my protection, why should I not feel entitled to their kindness? In a situation where there's immediate physical danger, do you stand a better chance of defending you and your girlfriend against the danger than she does?
Yes.
So it's intuitive that you should be expected to be the one to protect the woman.
And
that makes sense. I don't understand, but no one is entitled to kindness
from
anybody.
Is that not kindness? If he's willing to defend her, is this not kindness from him as well?
Why do you shy away from that? Why do you have a problem with like the idea that you should be
expected
to protect?
What's wrong with the expectation that kindness is expected back?
Okay, so
let me go. Let me respond. Hold on.
There's an assumption of kindness from the men to protect, and we're calling it kind. There should be an assumption of kindness back.
Yeah, the obligation of saving somebody's life, I feel like, is a lot more important.
Let me reply.
I'm not obligated to save anyone's life.
I gotta reply.
Go ahead.
Okay. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. I completely understand it. I say this in numerous videos of mine that I've made. When that whole shuck and jive happened with the woman that got hit with the brick, again, I said it in that video too. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. What is incredibly annoying to me is I always state that men should be kind, honorable, strong, and protective of women, of their families. You can watch any panel I've been on with Whick. You can watch the videos that I've made. I have always been consistent that men should do their job. Here's what's funny. When I say that women should give anything back, friction.
Not even do
No. Carry children.
You come to argue with me.
Carry children. Carry children. The balances are even. Okay, move on.
You did, right? You did.
Women should also be expected. Right? Yes, women should also be expected to be honorable and kind to men in turn. Of course,
no, they shouldn't.
Be
then why are you arguing with me?
I think no, Smeth. I'm saying it's a preferable behavior for men and women both to be like.
Then why are you arguing?
I guess.
What's the argument? That means
because you weighed it against the notion that you should protect your person. Those are like disanalogous. I don't think you can compare.
Okay, so then let's make it analogous. Let's make it analogous,
sure.
Right? If I'm just nice and sweet and kind, and I just treat a woman well, right? Why is it wrong to be, quote, entitled to some kindness back? Why is that wrong?
Who said that was wrong?
I think
that's wrong.
Me.
I think
that's wrong. If you don't think it's wrong, then there's no argument.
I don't think it's wrong. I don't think you should be disappointed when your expectations.
I do think it's
okay, but then you don't disagree. So Smith, go ahead. You have
why do you disagree?
So if you think then that it's okay that you should be able to, okay. So I was in the impression that you were saying that you're entitled to her being nice. So you go up to a girl, you hit on a girl at a coffee shop, and you are entitled to her being polite and nice to you. And if she says, "Get away from me, I don't want you to," like she doesn't like that you hit on her and she's mad at you for doing that, then that's like some breach because you are willing to protect women, and she's done some wrong by not wanting you to have flirted with her in that moment, and she should be placating men and like always ready for men to hit on her whenever she wants, just because it happens to be a case that men are stronger, and because men are stronger, they have a responsibility to protect women, and sometimes.
So there's two things, right? There's two interesting things that kind of go here. Number one, I actually never said that in this specific situation, or even this general situation, right? If a man approaches a woman, he's entitled to her kindness. What I'm talking about is mostly large-scale interpersonal relationships. If a woman has the expectation that I am supposed to work for, we can just scale it down and just, fight. I just use that to just really hit the nail on the head, but we can scale it down. That I'm supposed to be a breadwinner. I'm supposed to take my resources and give it to her, right? That's her entitlement. She will not date me. She will not sexually select me, save I have that, right? Why is it then wrong if I return that with, you should be kind, you should appreciate that, you should be loving, you should be sweet? How is that wrong?
Because sex work is wrong. Sex work is immoral. You're building a relationship off of like paying her to be nice to you and fuck with you.
Thank you for calling in. I'm gonna let Kilo.
I didn't say anything about sex, and I think that's extremely interesting to me, right? A lot of people keep clicking back to this transactional thing. Why can't it be an ebb and flow? Why isn't there no societal honor?
You're the one making it transactional by saying like very adamantly that she has to do this because you did that.
Well, no, because they have the expectation of him already, Smith. They already have the expectation of him. Why can't he have the expectation of them as well? It's like kind of ridiculous. I'm literally watching both chats with people like, why do you think you need a reward for this shit? Why do you think you need something in return? Why is the expectation of me in the first place if I can't have the expectation of you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is transactional at the end of the day, man. You are doing things for people, so they do things for you, and you do things because you want to. And if someone's not, if I'm doing things for someone and no one's doing anything for me, I'm not gonna do things for that person anymore.
Good. Right. So I do something nice for you. Let's say that your dog needs surgery, and I give you $2,000, and I save your dog's life. Oh, man, I need water, but it's not gonna happen. So you I don't have water next to me.
If I give you $2,000. And then I come to you one day and say, hey, man, I had a real problem. Can you give me a couple, can you give me an hour of your day to talk about it? And you say, fuck off.
Right.
What do you think?
So that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. So like, if I do that, like, if this is fucking America, I can do that. I'm an asshole if I do that. But you don't, like, I don't actually owe you that. I'm just an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait, you don't owe me what?
I don't have to do anything.
Are we talking like?
I disagree. So first of all, if I may,
morally or like,
because if I had to do it,
I don't think you should be legally obligated to.
Yeah, there's
but
free
you
will.
are morally obligated to. If someone does something kind to you, you have a moral obligation, a duty, if you will, to try at least to do your best to reciprocate. And if you do not, if you fail to reciprocate in that basic human kindness, then not only are you an asshole, but you have failed in your moral duty and responsibility. You have failed.
But yes, I agree.
It's okay to call someone a failure and that they have not upheld their social contract when, again, while it's not transactional, and I'll tell you this, I will do something for someone that is kind even if they are mean to me back, because while I recognize, like, I'm not responsible for them failing, right? So, like, that's not on me. I'll treat you as an adult. I will treat you as a human being with full faculties, and I will do something for you out of the kindness of my heart without expecting you to do it in return. However, if you do not do it in return, you've still failed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but when it's just being kind and someone being not being kind like in return, that is different. And also there's a million and one reasons why that could be happening and why they have specific boundaries about. So if it is like the same, equal, and first, like you have to establish a relationship with somebody. So if I go up to a random person who I don't know and I hear that they have a dying dog and I pay them money, and then I go up to them like another week later, hey, how's it going, buddy? And they're like, oh, thank you for that money. And I'm like, so can you give me a ride to work? And they're like, what? Because that was not established and they aren't ready.
Let's look at it. Hold on. No, let me interject because I haven't gotten a chance, and I know Demand called in. I want to give him a chance.
That was a wild example.
Yeah, I want to.
That's a good example.
I want to.
You want to tell someone random and gave up $2,000?
Let me ask you this, Smeth. Well, first I'll say my piece, and then I'll ask you the question. when someone does something kind for me, like out of the goodness of that, even if I don't know them well, and this has happened on a couple occasions, especially in the streaming world, and they've been bright, shining moments when someone has gone out of their way without me asking, without me expecting anything, right? Like, has gone out of their way not to go above and beyond to help me out and to support me. I did not deserve it. I did nothing to deserve it. They have just done it out of the goodness of their hearts because that's who they are. When someone does that for me, it creates a sense in me of now I have a duty to be loyal to this person to a degree, right? I have a duty to try and honor this kindness I've been shown by showing it back or doing what I can to repay it. That is a duty that I feel, right, when someone does something for me. So my question to you, Smeth, is if someone did give you money to save your dog, would you not feel the same?
What? Yeah, I would be grateful. It doesn't mean I would do anything. So
no, I'm
if
not
they,
asking would you be grateful. Would you feel a sense of loyalty and duty to repay that in
like,
some
give
way?
them
Even not just
$2,000?
No,
Sure.
not just a maybe not like a standard.
You
I will
would
repay
treat
you
them
that
nicely.
2,000.
You would show gratitude.
I would be grateful,
that's
is what I
called
said, and
honor.
he said that wasn't good enough. So I don't know what the fuck
Well,
he's
no,
talking
being
about.
thankful just
Right.
means I say thank you.
I said
whereas,
grateful.
Like, showing gratitude means like yes, meaning like I will, you know, they will know by the way that I interact with them how much I appreciate what it is that they did for me. That's what people
Yes.
are asking for.
Yes.
And then my
you
question
can't,
is,
so yeah, you can't just like do things that like, so you can't just use money or like power or leverage to get control over me, like because in that world then you can literally just like blackmail and manipulate and extort people to do whatever you want.
Can I hit the buzzer? Let me respond to that, right? Essentially, what I'm trying to describe is a sense of honor, right? A sense of, because you've done a kindness for me, I feel compelled, not by force, not by the state.
It's like a
but
mob
because
shit.
I understand.
I've done
hold
you
on,
a
but
great
because I
service.
understand the sacrifice that you've given to me.
I'm gonna give you a
I
gift you'll
appreciate
never forget.
hold on. But this is the thing, Smith. The point of honor, right, is that you, the person, should be compelled to give it back. Smith, if you
I'm not a
gave me
mobster.
$50, right?
I'm not
Hold
a
on, hold on,
fucking
hold on.
mobster.
No, it's not about a mobster, right? And this might be just a whole moral debate we have to have some other time, right? But just so you understand the concept of honor, right? If you give me $50, right, to pay my light bill, right? Honor then tells me you sacrifice something for me. So in the future, if you need something, right, because I understand the sacrifice, because I have empathy, when you need $50, I will happily give you $50 back in your time of need. That's what honor is. It's not about being a mobster. It's not about all this about social.
Okay.
It's about the personal morality.
What you just
and
said makes
integrity
sense.
one has
What you just said
to
makes
have for
sense.
another.
But that's not the argument you were making. You were making it from the other perspective.
It
So you were making it the other way around. You know, it's not the same argument. So you were saying that if he doesn't give me $50 back in my time of need, I'm upset. So what that means is you've created a scenario where you can gain control over people and then control them and force them to do things that you want them to do by having helped them in a time of need. So like you're literally just like you can go to a homeless guy and pay them to like suck your dick. Like in your fucking moral framework, you guys are making like weird faces because you don't have a fucking brain.
Okay,
That's what you're saying.
Okay. We need to get through this. Demand called in. Demand, I hope has something. let's honor the sacrifice he's making by calling in and sacrificing his time to make sure that he has a chance to have his say. Demand, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Here.
Okay. I'm just calling because I've just went through this scenario where basically this woman owed me $30 and I told her that, and basically she said you can pay me basically she told me to take her out for dinner. Does that make sense for anyone?
So you loaned her money.
She
You loaned her
likes
$30.
you.
Yeah, she
And
does
so
actually
in
like
return, to pay you
means she
back,
likes
she
you.
said you can buy me dinner.
Yeah, it just means she likes you.
Yeah, she
She's
just has a
trying to
crush
get
on
away
you.
Yeah,
in.
she just wants
Yeah.
to date.
She was already willing to give you money. Now she wants to let you go out with her too. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
gave
seems
him
like a
money.
layup.
I gave him money.
Oh, he gave her money. Wait,
Yeah,
gave-
and she's trying to reward him with a date. Take the date.
based.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
she's like,
it just
she's
sounds
like,
like she
basically
likes you.
she's like, you can, I'll pay you back by you taking me out for something to eat. Like,
I would
That
take
doesn't
her
make
out.
sense, though.
Take her out of your address book. Take her out of your context. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
Hold on,
Yeah,
wait. She's rewarding you by you taking her out, as in you're going to pay. Fuck
yeah.
that.
yeah.
Again,
She
but,
basically,
guys,
yeah.
you know that's
No.
not what she's actually doing. She just
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
just wants him to take her
Yeah,
out.
but like but the way it's worded.
Yeah, sure.
Jesus.
She's just
It's
using
not
it as
good.
an
I'm with
in,
Tom.
but it
No.
is what it
Yeah, I'm
is.
with
Like
Tom.
she just wants it, dude. Just give it to
Yeah.
her.
No, she just wants a date, man. That's all it is.
Yeah. I think Tom's 100% right. I think she's just being cheeky. I think Tom's 100%
No,
right.
she's
Oh,
by
she's
by framing it as a reward
Yep.
for having done something. It
Yes,
changes the dynamic. It's not the
Yeah.
same.
I agree with Smith
Okay,
a little
It's
bit.
we
I
all
think
use
that you're
different things
overthinking
as an
it,
in.
gang.
Yeah,
Okay,
we all use a
exactly,
thing
guys.
as an in.
I
Exactly.
agree that she just wants the date, but that wording would throw me off completely.
Yeah.
That's
get
right. Okay, men, you're doing this is the Velcro mullet that we're doing right now. We're looking at the poor phrasing of it, and we're just tossing the whole thing to the side.
That's
Yo,
Velcro.
Ink is in the house.
No,
What's up, Ink?
just ignore that. Okay, it could have been more artfully phrased. Sure.
Base. No, she just wants a date.
W. Take
Yeah,
the
she just
W.
wants a
Ignore the Velcro wallet and
Yep.
carry on.
She just wants a
Anything
date.
else from you,
Go
Don
for
Man?
it.
Before we
Yeah,
get
but
back, because I want to get to the next guest real quick.
Okay, one more thing is that acceptable for women to do
Yeah.
to basically
If she's
have
hot.
her pay back by me buying her, basically spending more money on her? That's ridiculous.
If she's
Again,
Well, let me
Yeah, I don't
explain
think-
it to you in a meta sense, right? Essentially, what you're dancing around is like she's using her body or herself or her presence as your reward, right? Like she's overvaluing herself as
Exactly.
I am. You're blessed to be around me. Your reward is you get to continue to be around
Is she a
me.
$30
That's
woman?
what your apprehension
That's
is.
the
my
question.
man.
Is she a $30 woman?
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know who this person is. Maybe
Yeah.
they're only a
$30
$20
too
woman.
much for a date.
maybe my
It
thing.
depends
I
on what
understand
you're
what you're asking.
You
Yeah, I
call in
understand
by
what you're
joining
asking. I
Wick's
understand what
Discord
your
server and
resistance
hopping
is.
in
I mean, if
backstage.
you want my
But I'm
personal
gonna be
advice, I
leaving
would say
eventually.
You would have to
soon.
talk to her a little bit. Maybe she's being cheeky. I would not assume that that's legitimately what she believes unless she kind of shows it through more conversation. So
I should just be
I
in
would
cheek.
say if she has a big butt, just freaking take her on the
Base
date.
100%.
That's all that matters.
100%.
Good
That's
man,
the real
thank
one.
you for calling in. I hope we solved your
Yes.
problem.
It's
Take
simple.
the date.
It's
Take the
simple.
date. Oh, what's up?
I was for Smeth. You
Okay.
can. So like we shouldn't feel entitled to a woman's kindness, right? That's kind of like what
Right.
there's no entitlement. So my question is, why do you think some women, I'm not gonna say majority, not all, feel entitled to give an attitude to someone they just met or someone that, to do that? Why do you think that? Like that is do you think that's okay?
ooh, good question.
Yeah. I don't think being mean is okay. And so
Okay.
but also I think it's good. So let's say like you hit on a woman, like I don't think it's wrong to hit on. I don't think it's wrong to hit on a woman at the gym. Some people
Yeah.
get freak out about that. But if you do hit on a woman at the gym and she's like upset at you and doesn't like it, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Okay, gang.
Yeah, okay.
Gang. Fairy Queen, if you got a camera, let's see it. But Fairy Queen, it's your time to shine. Give us what you got.
Okay, guys. Sorry, I can't cam up today. I'm a little under the weather.
think?
I just got some pizza. I was cozying, but then I saw that this panel was on, and I couldn't help but chime in. And I wanted to say just two things. First of all, I wanted to back up what Whick was saying earlier about moral duties, right? This is something that I often hear about relationships, like when we talk about them online, as if they are purely transactional matters, right? I do this for you, therefore you do this for me, right? Like, so in other words, the reason, like why the way a relationship is supposed to work is you do this and I do this, right? And therefore I get this in return, right? And that might be true to a certain degree, but what Whick is saying about is also absolutely true, right? That one of the joys of being in a relationship with somebody else, of dating somebody else, is doing things for the other person, right? You do those, you don't make your partner a cup of coffee and a plate of scrambled eggs, or kiss them goodbye, or hold them, or tell them, all of the things that you would like to do for your partner just because oh, they mowed the lawn for me yesterday and therefore I owe them this plate of eggs, right? You do it because they're your partner and you care about them and you love genuinely making them feel good, right? And you would do it regardless. You would do it even if they had yelled at you and obviously there are limits to this, right? Like if somebody is actually being abusive, then maybe you wouldn't, obviously it would be different, right? But generally speaking, in a normal relationship, like in a normal interaction back and forth, the reason why we try to do good things for other people is because we think that they are good things to do, not necessarily with the expectation that we get something back, right? So that was something I just wanted to back up Whick with. I thought that was a really good point, and I wish more people would say that. But the second thing that I wanted to say, okay?
Before you get to that, I just wanted to note, right, very quick, you saw this panel of men laughing,
Yes.
having fun, enjoying
Yeah.
themselves, and it made you mad. Made
Oh,
you want to come in and interrupt it.
Absolutely.
Please
Absolutely.
carry on.
I wanted to ruin the men's fun, okay?
I
That's
get
what
mad.
I'm
I
here
get
for,
mad when
okay?
I see women doing the same thing. It's totally fine.
I know. Oh, believe me, I
It's
know.
totally
I know.
Okay.
That's why we
What you
need
got?
to
What you
do
got,
these
Chris?
communities. All right. Anyway, so this is the next part 2, okay? This is what I am mad about, okay? This is a lie that men tell, and they tell it on so many panels, okay, about dating. And this is the lie that I hear that I need to challenge, okay? And that's that the reason like why there are such high expectations on men to do well and to succeed is because women want those things and they intrinsically want those things, right? The reason why women date men that make more money than they do, that go to have more education that they do, that tend to be like, et cetera, is because they have this built up expectation in their head. There is a flip side to this, okay? And I say this as somebody, as a woman who is in a doctorate program, as a woman who has had many relationships with men that had less education than I did, that made less money than I did. Folks, when you date a man who makes less money than you, who has less education than you, they hate it, okay?
Why?
Men typically hate
Why do they hate it?
They hate it because it makes them feel inferior and insecure.
And why does it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Why
And not
do-
only
and why? Why does it?
It absolutely does. It
Why
absolutely
does it? I know.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Why does it?
Why? It makes them feel insecure because they want to beat
Because-
their wives. They not literally. They
Why?
want to feel superior to their wives. They want to feel
Why?
smarter than their wives because that's other men expect them to be better than their wives. They have there's an expectation from other men. Other men have an
Well, tell her what you think. Tell her what you think.
Hold on. Let her finish. Everyone stop. Let her finish, and then you can respond. Go ahead, Ferry.
Okay, when men are dating a woman and that woman happens to make more money than they do, has more education than they do, their male friends humiliate them for it. They yell at them.
Oh,
they
really?
tease them. They make fun of them.
No, they
Yes,
don't.
yes, they do. Yes,
No,
they
they
do.
probably
And I'll
do
tell you,
sometimes. Like, so
they absolutely
maybe
do.
not to
Yes,
you.
they do. They get angry and they feel jealous of the woman that they're dating. I will tell you, as somebody that has been on many dates and who has tried to pay for dates, who wants to pay for dates and wants to do things, the men that I have dated hate that. They do not like it. They absolutely do not. Okay, so I am so tired of men saying, "Oh, I would love it if somebody would pay for the dates. I would love it if you would do this." When that is so not true. It is consistently not true. Okay?
Let her finish.
If we want, okay, we cannot have this both ways, right? It can't be the case where on the one hand, you say, well, women need to have lower expectations. You need to be fine with dating somebody that makes less money than you, that, has less education than you. That doesn't, you need to lower your standards. But then actually, like when you date somebody that does have those things, they get mad at you and they punish you and they try to one-up you at every turn. And so that's a big barrier and a reason why women often do not want to date men that make less money than them. It's because the men that they date punish them for it, and it sucks.
Women do that to men too.
I know you all want to respond. Stop. I know you all want a piece of this. Fairy Queen stirred up, kick the hornet's nest, right? I want to go one at a time though, and not all shout over each other to tell the woman why she's wrong, even though she is. And we're gonna go with Tom first, and we're gonna go around, and Xerxes you're last because you're gonna be the longest. I know you are. Don't try to lie. Tom, go ahead.
Okay, so I've literally never seen men hold each other to these expectations. Generally, these are things that women look at. Women make fun of other women for not having a man who's able to provide. Men, if I hear a woman say, "Hey, I want to pay for the date," but there's a million TikToks out there where women say, "I offered and he let me." Can you believe it? We all don't think that you actually want to pay for the date. If you say you want to do it, we don't believe you because we don't want to be emasculated in front of you. We don't care about our friends. Our friends don't care. If I had a woman who says, "Hey, no, truly, I make like $1 million a year. You can just like, you know, come and like clean the house and shit. I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, that's freaking dope. I'm totally down. I don't think any guy would be like, no, that's not me. I would hate doing that. Most guys would be fine with it if the woman that they're with still respects them and still looks at them as a man. They would still like, they wouldn't give a crap about any of these external things. The only reason they do is because they believe that women care about those things.
I don't think it's just because of that. I do think that some men are like that. I'm definitely not like that. I brag about it if like a woman pays for like a date for me, like I like that. And I know you don't believe me. But like someone in my chat like just said, it's because the woman won't let me buy video games. She says this is why you're poor. I think if it's the case that like regardless of your sex, if your partner makes more money and they lord it over you, that's always going to be bad. If what you're saying is men always feel lorded over even when they're not, then I believe that that's your experience. But I really don't think most men are like that. Or at least when I don't know about most, but I really don't think all men are like that. I just think that you have found men that are
okay. So just so that's a fair point. So let me respond to that. Okay, so this is from the American Psychological Association. This was published in 2013. I tried dropping it in the chat. There's some weird thing. It's not letting me do it. Whick, you can be the person that verifies it. It's published. It says men feel worse about themselves when female partners succeed, says new research. Okay, and this is what the study says. What the study says, okay, men who believed that their partners scored in the top 12% of what they believed to be an IQ test demonstrated significantly lower implicit self-esteem than men who believed their partner scored in the bottom 12%. Participants did not receive information about their own performance. So in other words, the men did not know in this study, like what they got on this intelligence test. They did not know how they scored. All they knew was how well and how successful their partners were when they took this exam. And when they thought that their partner was scored in the top 12%, they felt implicitly had a lower sense of self-esteem according to this study. And I'm
if I may, real quick, Fairy Queen, just real quick, Fairy Queen, that would be true not only in a partner situation, but in any situation. If I was told in a study that every other streamer had scored higher than me in an IQ test, I'm not in a relationship with every other streamer, but I would feel low self-esteem because I scored lower than everyone around me, right? That's not indicative. Right, of men feeling ashamed that their women is better than them. It's indicative of them being told that they are less than, right?
Whick, I'm sorry. I hate to do this, but I'm afraid you're wrong. And I'm going to tell you why you are wrong. Because in this study, according to this study, relationships also looked at how relationship satisfaction affected self-esteem. Women in these experiments, the exact same experiments, reported feeling better about their relationship when they thought about the time their partner succeeded rather than a time when their partner failed but did not. Which means that typically speaking, women feel more positively about their male partners succeeding as opposed to male partners feeling so happy about their female partners succeeding.
I'm shocked.
That's why your streamer example does not work, Whick. That is why it fails. I am sorry.
I mean, yeah, these are the general trends, I think. That doesn't mean that all men are like that. It's bad. It's shitty behavior. It's shitty behavior on both sides.
Former and primed sugar baby, all right? I was a male sugar baby. I was a massage therapist for 10 years. I had my own place. I cook. I now own a food truck. Coming from someone who's been in these... The reason why... Okay, so when you're a sugar baby, it's an older woman, and she wants to take care of you. But she's only using you for fun. So you feel this like immense sense of joy when you're like, a woman's paying for me, a woman's pampering me, a woman's taking me out. That's all fun and fine. But then when I left the sugar baby realm and went into the normal dating realm, right? It became the expectations became super flipped. If I say that like I don't want to work, or if I'd love to be a stay-at-home dad, I get looked at negatively. I get looked at as not a man. I get looked at as all of these things. So the reason why women feel better about their partner succeeding is because it benefits them. Versus me, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and they do something, it's not going to benefit me because I have to fight for me.
It should benefit you.
I'm so glad, Ali, that you brought that up. Can I respond to what you just said? Okay. Thank you for sharing your experience. That was great. I really would love talking to you sometime. But I gotta talk to you. Okay, gotta talk to you about the stay-at-home dad thing, okay? This was something that Connor brought up. It was something that he had so many great points. This was the one point that I think we need to talk about, okay? And that's what we think of as a stay-at-home dad, okay? Yeah. When we think of like what a stay-at-home dad was, what did he say? He said like, oh, if I could stay at home and I could just change out Finding Nemo, you know, and smoke pot and play video games, you know, and hang out at home, you know, sign me right up.
At the end of the shift.
Sign me right up. That's exactly what I would do, right? Let me just ask all of you, okay? Like for those of you who had stay-at-home moms, okay, who's your mom stayed at home, right? For those of you who had that experience, okay, is that what your mom did? What did your mom do? Was she playing video games and like?
She played most of the time. She played like solitaire.
First of all, no. You misrepresented him.
Said that, and then second of all, that's.
But that's a misrepresentation. What he said was he would take care of them for the 8 hours that they were awake, or he would do his shift, quote unquote, and then at the end he would play video games and he would smoke weed. So let's represent him.
He said play video games with the kids, and that is different.
Okay,
playing
so
video games with the kids is very different from playing video games.
Yeah. Okay, so during his shift he's with the kids, right? And at the end he's gonna smoke weed when they go to sleep. Represent him correctly.
Xerxes, this whole response that you are giving me right now tells me that you need to pick up the phone and talk to some women that work as stay-at-home moms, okay? How many? Because I will tell you, as somebody who knows a lot of moms, okay, as somebody who talks to them I'm in community with them, okay, let me tell you something, okay? Most of them, they are not just sitting back chilling and smoking pot at the end of the day. They're doing dishes, they're helping homework, they're folding laundry, they're vacuuming, they're picking up the dog poop.
Folding laundry is so hard. Making a sandwich is so hard.
I know. It's great, isn't it? How many men think that it's so easy to do? Which is why so many men, when they talk about being stay-at-home dads, think that the job is easy, and because they haven't been trained their whole lives.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's easy. Let me tell you why it's easy.
Did you just tell her laugh? That's why. It's because you suck at doing domestic labor. It's because you haven't been trained to do domestic labor. You did help on Thanksgiving. You sat down and let your mom serve you a beer, and then you whined about it. That's what happened, okay? I am so sick to death of it. No more of this stay-at-home dad bullshit. If
Mom and Dad,
you need to work your ass and fanny off. Have a good day. Goodbye.
I love it. She couldn't handle the smoke. I didn't even get the reply. I didn't even get to give her the smoke.
Let me speak. So just to Fairy's point,
I gotta go.
Peace out. So I get that.
I didn't kick her. I didn't touch her, gang. This wasn't me.
Hopefully she's still.
She can handle the smoke.
I get that points were made.
Okay. Yo. Half of my stream with Brittany is on the way. I'm going to download it, stream it again. The VOD will be up. The second half of it. It was pretty good. So look forward to that if you missed it. It's getting it's for me. It's 9:22 p.m. It's 9:22 p.m. It's a nice time to take a nice dose of Smethadone. As you leave the Smeth den and take a nice dose and fall off to sleep. Rest your head on your pillow. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Thank you. I did like that stream with Brittany. It was really great. Okay. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.